reimbursement later. And rapper Pusha T and his wife Virginia Williams are celebrating the birth of their second son. The couple shared the news on Instagram with Big Brother proudly holding the newborn. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Recall 67A mobile appointments are now available in your area. We come to you quick, easy, and under an hour. Complete the recall to get $500 plus a warranty worth thousands. Schedule today at CummonsRecall.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Houston Rockets are 4.5-point favorites to beat the Lakers Tuesday night in Game 2 of their first-round playoff series, despite losing Game 1 and despite the uncertainty of Kevin Durant's availability. Durant sat out Game 1 with a sore knee. He's listed as a game-time decision for Game 2 at Crypto.com. With Durant not being completely healthy and Game 2 here in L.A., it's hard to understand what the odds makers in Vegas are thinking. These odds will certainly change a lot if the Lakers go up 2-0 in the best of 7. Lakers legend Michael Cooper was a guest on Out of Bounds Friday night here on KBLA with me and my co-host Neil Scarborough. Cooper is the new head men's basketball coach at Cal State LA. The NBA Hall of Famer said he would like to recruit more student athletes from urban high schools in the LA area, like Dorsey, Crenshaw, Fairfax, Hamilton, and others. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
You have something to say, and we want to hear it. KBLA Talk 1580 is engagement radio, not outrage radio. A place where your hopes, your frustrations, and your ideas are welcome 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Real talk, real people, real Los Angeles. KBLA Talk 1580, the station that sounds like the city looks. Tune in on your AM radio dial at 1580. Download our free KBLA 1580 app or listen live on our website at KBLA1580.com.
Unapologetically progressive.
Live from historic Leimert Park in Los Angeles, California. I'm Tavis Smiley, and I'm so glad to see you and me back in stride again. Before we get started with today's show, let me invite you to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The Real Tavis Smiley, and get updates on X, that's formerly Twitter, at Tavis Smiley. By the way, should you miss any part of today's program or want to catch up on previous shows, you can always visit thetavissmileyshow.com. That's thetavissmileyshow.com, or wherever you get your podcast, and listen to the Tavis Smiley podcast version of this live program at your leisure. Another great show on tap for you today. In our second hour, 2 conversations, it is Monday. So we will kick off hour 2 with Dr. Cornel West, as per usual. On the B side of hour 2, attorney and minority business advocate Amber Littlejohn talks about the struggles of black entrepreneurs opening dispensaries and what equitable justice looks like as she efforts to reduce arrest and imprisonment for nonviolent cannabis offenses. In our third hour, 2 more conversations. Up first, former Obama-era Homeland Security Secretary Jeh Johnson on the future of that governmental department. I paused because I got thoughts about the future already of that department under Mr. Mullen, who's already in trouble. The guy just got, confirmed a month ago, and he's catching it from the left and the right. Mr. Mullen is. So we'll talk about the future of the department that Mr. Johnson used to run, Homeland Security, when we get to the top side of hour 3. On the B side of hour 3. It's hard to believe it, but 10 years ago tomorrow, April 21st, 2016, we lost Prince Rogers Nelson. On this program tomorrow, a tribute to Prince like no other. I was blessed to have more in-depth conversations with Prince than anyone else in the broadcast media business. And tomorrow, we are digging into my vault to bring you Prince in his own words for all 3 hours of this program. That said, on the backside of hour 3 today, Prince's former wife, Mayte Garcia, comes live in studio to talk about the work of her foundation, Live for Love Charities, which she founded with Prince, and to celebrate Prince's legacy a decade after his death. Can you imagine being married to that Negro and he writes this song for you? Turn that up, Miles. Just turn it up. Turn it up.
And feel proud of the light of this love. Oh, yeah. Oh, could you be the most beautiful girl in the world?
Anyway, I got to get going here. Mayte Garcia comes live in studio today on the backside of hour 3 to celebrate Prince, Rogers, Nelson, and the gang. Tomorrow, don't forget, all 3 hours. Prince, in his own words, the only place you'll hear that is on this program, and I'm humbled to say that. Just so, again, still thrilled and delighted and speechless all these years later that Prince, for whatever reason, spent so much time, high-quality time with me, and I want to share that with you tomorrow on this program again for all 3 hours. All right, all that said, let's get this party started. In this hour, let's talk politics and more with our regular contributor, author, and founding chair of the Department of African American Studies at UCLA, home of the women's national championship team in basketball, Marcus Anthony Hunter. Hey, Marcus, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Peace, King. Peace, T. Dot. How you be?
Man, I'm hanging in, brother. Good to hear your voice, and glad that you're on today in this first hour. I hate that you're not in studio, but I know you're on the road traveling. We'll talk about that and the work you're doing in Washington State on this issue of reparations. We'll get to that a little bit later in this hour. I think I want to start with this. Although I must tell you, it's a thing. Every day I step into my office. Before coming on the air, my producers and I do the rundown, what we're talking about. Obviously, these days, you cannot avoid talking about the issue of Iran, and yet this is getting so out of control, has been. So here we are now, and here's where we are. Let me just update this right quick for those who haven't been tapped in over the weekend. And when we come forward, I'll let Marcus start with Iran, and then we'll go to Cuba, because now he's threatening Cuba once again. Just sent a delegation to Cuba to threaten them face-to-face. So over the weekend, Trump is talking about Iran. He's talking about Cuba. So Cuba's next up. So this is just, again, it's just out of control. There's no other way to describe it. But here's the update on Iran right quick. We'll let Marcus respond when we come forward and jump from there. The Iran regime said today that it has no plans to attend peace talks in Pakistan with President Trump's top 3 negotiators, including Vice President J.D. Vance, as Tehran is balking at what it considers unreasonable and unrealistic demands by the White House. So this standoff over the Strait of Hormuz intensified over the weekend, in case you weren't tapped in again, as U.S. forces fired on and then seized an Iranian vessel. And with Tehran refusing to accept diplomacy on the ongoing blockade of its ports and exports. And so you're sending a delegation led by your vice president to Pakistan to engage in a second round of peace talks, but over the weekend you fire on and then seize one of their vessels. Make that make sense to me. So with no clear path to a diplomatic resolution at this moment, this 7-week war, this with Iran, U.S. and Israel against Iran, I should say, this 7-week war continues, and this U.S. ceasefire is set to expire tomorrow, Tuesday. And so who knows where this story goes tomorrow, but that's where we are today. Iran is saying we are not coming to the table after what y'all did this weekend. The ceasefire is set to end tomorrow, and who knows what happens on Wednesday. I digress for now. We'll let Marcus Anthony Hunter loose for the hour when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
This show was built for you, for the community, for the culture. For everyone who wants more than headlines, for everyone who wants meaning. Tavis Smiley has always believed that public media can change lives. And every single day, that's what he comes to work to do. You're listening to Tavis Smiley. Your voice, your issues, your show.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning. The cap is loose on that ketchup.
Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
58 years ago, a bullet tried to silence a dream. It couldn't. On April 4th, 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was taken from us. Not because he failed, but because he was winning. Winning the fight for a nation determined to live up to its promise. That fight didn't end then, and it can't end now. California is the most powerful state and the most powerful country on earth. But right now, too many people are being left behind, priced out of their homes, locked out of opportunity, told to wait for justice that's already long overdue. Dr. King didn't wait. He taught us the fierce urgency of now and acted. Now it's up to us to carry that same urgency today. We need leaders who will fight the triple evils of poverty, racism, and militarism. Not someday, now. On this anniversary, let's honor Dr. King the only way that truly counts, by doing the work. Ad paid for by Steyer for Governor 2026.
When the story gets twisted, who's going to tell the truth? When they cut the microphones, who's still talking? When history gets rewritten, who remembers what really happened? We do. KBLA Talk 1580. Black media isn't just important right now, it's essential. Because when mainstream outlets move on, we stay. When the headlines ignore our communities, we don't. When decisions are being made that affect black lives in our schools, our neighborhoods, our economy, KBLA is in the room. This is more than radio. This is a lifeline, a record, a rallying cry. Black stories, black voices, black power.
The heat is on.
On the air and in the culture. KBLA Talk 1580. Stay connected. Stay informed. Stay loud.
Stand up!
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley, UCLA's Marcus Anthony Hunter, who I'm honored to have kick us off today in hour one. So again, in case you just tuned in, the latest news on Iran is that those peace talks that were scheduled to start today in Pakistan at this moment have been put on hold. The Iran regime said we are not showing up because over the weekend y'all fired on and then seized one of our vessels in this U.S. blockade. And so this 7-week war that the U.S. and Israel have waged against Iran continues. The ceasefire is set to expire tomorrow night. And yet, with all that going on, Donald Trump continues to be delusional. Here's what he said. I guess the best way to describe this is another premature victory lap for Donald Trump vis-a-vis Iran. Take a listen.
I don't want to be a wise guy. I don't want to speak too soon. But we do very well. You notice that we're doing very well. And I will say the war in Iran is going along swimmingly. We can do whatever we want. And it should be ending pretty soon. It was perfect. I mean, it's perfect. We had the best economy in the history of our country in my first term, and we're blowing it out now. We're blowing it away now. And despite our little diversion to the lovely country of Iran, lovely place, but we had to do that because otherwise bad things could happen.
Okay. Marcus, every time I play a Donald Trump clip, I never know where to start. First of all, things are going swimmingly well in Iran.
Yes, right.
I mean, swimmingly well. We're blowing it out on the economy. The economy's just doing amazingly well. We're blowing it out there. I mean, these clips are just, I play them so you can hear the president in his own words, and yet he is advancing one narrative about Iran, which completely is counter to what I just shared with you in the audience about what's happening today. But I digress. Your turn.
Yeah, I mean, we know that President Trump really deals a lot in counterfeit narratives. And what we are seeing right now with Iran is not peace, it is pressure sitting on top of a powder keg. You cannot blockade your way to peace. When you see ships restrict movement and call that strategy, that really is escalation dressed up as strength. The Strait of Hormuz is a lifeline for the global economy, and President Trump is effectively tightening the grip on it like a fist, which means the entire world feels the pressure. This is a high-stakes gamble with very little room for error, a spark being lit next to a full tank of gas. As they say, do not smoke at the gas station. You cannot press the gas and the brake at the same time and call it stability. Peace cannot be declared. It has to be built through trust, restraint, and real diplomacy. If we confuse pressure for peace, we are not ending conflict. We're simply scheduling its return. And so what I hear here is, that we should buckle in for unknown amount of time, because again, even by his own definition of when things should be ending, there's a deep drift already happening around this issue and this military engagement already.
Yep. The other thing I'm thinking about is I hear that clip when he says we can do whatever we want. Things are going swimmingly well in Iran, swimmingly well. We can do whatever we want, whatever we want. I'm trying to juxtapose this commentary that continues to come from him and Pete Hegseth at the Department of Defense, or War as they prefer to call it. I'm trying to juxtapose their commentary with what I believe to be the truth, which is that this tiny nation, as compared to ours, has out-strategized us, has outsmarted us, and frankly is making Donald Trump look stupid. I mean, I don't know what they expected when they went over there, but the way they have moved and the way they have strategized, to use your word, I think is an embarrassment to the behemoth called the U.S. of A. But everything that Donald Trump has tried, ain't nothing worked at this point. Iran, again, has outsmarted us, out-strategized us. Am I the only person that sees this?
Yeah, it's also, that area of the world is also known as many ancient lands. We're not talking about people who are unfamiliar with like thousands and centuries of being in this area, and somebody just thinks they can plop over there and disenfranchise them from land they've been a part of for thousands of years. I mean, it's also partly, this is why a lot of folks bring back kind of like a sense of Vietnam, where you are too far away as a nation state to think that you can bulldoze an indigenous people out of their space and think that you're going to win without taking serious losses. The other thing that's a little odd is at times when I'm hearing these clips and catching clips on television, what I often think is, am I listening to a presidential strategy? Am I listening to the chief commander-in-chief of the military? Or is this an episode where people are learning how to play the game Battleship?
No.
Which is it?
Yeah.
Are we playing Battleship, or are we actually talking about geopolitical affairs and causing war?
No. It's a powerful question, and not one that should not be taken seriously. But I love the frame. Is this a game of Battleship, or are we really, I hear you.
Yeah, because even to your point, Tavis, about swimmingly, just recently Iran says, oh yeah, those mines we put in the strait, we don't know where they are.
Yeah, I'm telling you. There's
it's less safe now to be a boat in that space than it was before Donald Trump got involved.
Yeah, their strategy, or as George W. Bush used to say, their strategery. their strategery is an embarrassment to the powerful United States of America. I just, every turn, everything that Donald Trump has tried, they have said, nope, don't think so. Don't think so.
And they saying they want reparations. That's right. One of their first demands.
Yeah. I mean, they for all of Donald Trump's bloviating and his bluster, they are controlling the narrative.
Absolutely.
They are controlling the narrative on this situation. It is humiliating. But this is what you get when you stick your nose somewhere you ain't got no business sticking your nose in the first place. I digress on that point. I want to just go to one other point he made in that clip, and then I want to push to Cuba right quick because they got some drama about to jump off in Cuba. So Venezuela one day, you're threatening Greenland the next day, you go into Iran the next day, now you're threatening Cuba again. They sent a delegation, the State Department did send a delegation to Cuba last week. while I was off the air, and they have warned Cuba's government that they have a small window before the U.S. steps up and does something with regard to this humanitarian crisis on the island that has deepened. Wait for it, wait for it. So the humanitarian crisis on the island of Cuba, the small island, I've been there a number of times. The crisis has deepened on that island. It's deepened, though. Why? I'm glad you asked. Because Cuba has been in an economic freefall ever since we cut off the oil shipments to the island from Venezuela and Mexico back in January. So how dare you go to Cuba and tell them, get your act together with this humanitarian crisis, and we're going to come in and take you over. But we started the crisis by blocking the oil shipments getting to their country. Put a pin in that. We're going to come back to it. Again, you can't make this stuff up, as I say every day. But back to that clip. Trump says, we're blowing it out on the economy. So things are going swimmingly well in Iran, and we're blowing it out on the economy. Donald Trump, I remind us every so often, was elected, the exit polls tell us, Marcus, he was elected, the data tell us, because people thought he'd be better on the economy. It ain't worked out that way so much, number one. But number two, Donald Trump is the king of, how can I put it, the Jedi mind trick. He is the best at the Jedi mind trick. And every time he's spoken about the economy, at least to date, his narrative finds a way of breaking through. I'm not so sure that's the case this time, but he's continued to advance this notion that the economy is doing extremely well and that we're blowing it out on the economy. Is this the time where the American people finally decide they're not going to buy that rhetoric?
It's definitely seeming like it. I mean, we just saw notices that Meta is planning to lay off 8,000 employees. Disney is doing a massive round of layoffs. There are proposed layoffs across the tech industry happening as he's saying the economy is amazing. There's still this antagonistic posture the president has toward the Fed. That's still up in the air, and prices are continuing to go up. And he keeps saying, the president does, that this is just short and we're almost there. We're almost at the end of it. And that's also just a byproduct of him being able to say whatever he wants, and usually just being surrounded by a peanut gallery of people who will just defend and find ways to defend or antagonize people who are actually asking for facts to come out of his statements.
Yeah, he calls this a diversion, right? This is just a diversion for the economy, but that we're blowing it out on the economy. So again, I don't know who you want to believe, Donald Trump's lies or
the price at the Shell gas station on Crenshaw.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to believe your ears or your eyes on this one.
Exactly. I was going to say something else, but I'll take your frame. I'll stick with yours. Let me pivot to Cuba, and then I'm going to do some other stuff here in this hour. But again, this is the news of the day, and while I grow weary of having to talk about this every single day, we will, because Donald Trump is leading us down the rabbit hole globally, and these situations cannot be ignored by us or by you. All right, so let me pivot to Cuba right quick. Here is Trump over the weekend, as I played a moment ago, over the weekend, talking about how swimmingly well things are going in Iran. Here's what he had to say about Cuba.
And very soon this great strength will also bring about a day, 70 years in waiting. It's called A New Dawn for Cuba. We're going to help them out with Cuba. We have a lot of great Cuban Americans. Not too many people in this audience, I don't think, but you go to Miami, we have people, Cuban Americans, people that were brutally treated, whose families were killed, brutalized, and now watch what happens.
So that last line is Donald Trump running Marco Rubio's talking points. Usually it's Rubio and everybody else running his talking points. If you know anything about Cuba and Marco Rubio and Florida, that last line was Donald Trump running Marco Rubio's talking points on Cuba. I've been there many times, had the honor in my career to sit for 8 hours one night, literally 8 hours, and talk to Fidel Castro. Castro talked so long to me one night, I ran out of tape. And I kept raising my hand and said, Mr. President, I got to tell you something. No, Tavis, I'm not done yet. He kept talking over me. I said, Mr. President, I'm out of tape. Stop talking. I ain't got no more tape, man. And he said to me, I'll never forget like it was yesterday, Tavis, I was just getting started. 8 hours later, I'm out of tape. Castro is still talking. If you know anything about Castro, he was famous for those hours-long speeches. So I had a bunch of tape, and I still ran out. The point here is that Castro's been dead for years now, and Marco Rubio and other Floridians are still running this talking point. Donald Trump has bought into it. Donald Trump, in so many respects, is just an empty vessel. And the folk around him pour into him whatever they want him to advance, right? Whatever they want to come out of his mouth, you just pour in, and he'll spit it back out. He'll regurgitate it for you. So that's Marco Rubio's talking point. But here's the frame again. Cuba is in this humanitarian crisis because we blocked the oil shipments. Marcus, you would not know that if you listened to that clip from Donald Trump.
Right. And to your point, the other thing that the clip does, and thank you for sharing that, is that he says it's a new dawn for Cuba. Well, the reason why there are no lights, okay, is because of America. So the new dawn idea is as if they need help from America to have something new for themselves, when in fact the reason why there's no power and no lights is exactly because of America's involvement. And what's also happening here is you can't starve a system into transformation and expect freedom to emerge. It's like trying to open a door by tightening your grip on the handle, and eventually something breaks, but it is rarely what you intended. And real change really requires engagement rather than disengagement. It requires shared recognition and at the very least the acknowledgement of the human beings who constitute the nation of Cuba.
This is what you get when you elect Donald Trump to a second term. And in that clip again that Marcus just references, Donald Trump says we're going to help Cuba out. I don't think Cuba wants our help in that way.
Right.
I don't think the help that Cuba wants is the help that Donald Trump is thinking about. I don't think Venezuela thinks that we help them. I'm not so sure that Iran right now thinks that we are helping them. I ain't got time. I could do this all day long of all the places around the globe where Donald Trump says he wants to help out, but his definition of help ain't their definition of help. This is, in many respects, the United States of embarrassment right about now. It is the United States of embarrassment, and it is fascinating to me, again, how Iran's propaganda is just running circles around Donald Trump. We will see how Cuba responds, but again, we sent a delegation there last week when I was off the air and warned them that either they get it together or we're going to come in and help them out. There's Iran, there's Cuba, so much more to cover with Marcus Anthony Hunter when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Former Vice President Kamala Harris criticized President Trump at a Chicago summit, saying his war with Iran has weakened the U.S.
He thumbs his nose at the importance of America's alliances, our friendships, and he thumbs his nose at America's responsibility to uphold standards such as sovereignty and territorial integrity. See Ukraine.
She also urged Democrats to focus on child care, health care, and housing ahead of November. The Trump administration is rolling out a tariff refund system starting today. Importers can apply for refunds from $166 billion paid before the Supreme Court struck down the tariffs. Consumers won't receive refunds directly, though some companies may offer reimbursement later. And rapper Pusha T and his wife Virginia Williams are celebrating the birth of their second son. The couple shared the news on Instagram, with Big Brother proudly holding the newborn. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Recall 67A mobile appointments are now available in your area. We come to you quick, easy, and under an hour. Complete the recall to get $500 plus a warranty worth thousands. Schedule today at CumminsRecall.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Houston Rockets are 4.5-point favorites to beat the Lakers Tuesday night in Game 2 of their first-round playoff series, despite losing Game 1 and despite the uncertainty of Kevin Durant's availability. Durant sat out Game 1 with a sore knee. He's listed as a game-time decision for Game 2 at Crypto.com. With Durant not being completely healthy and Game 2 here in L.A., it's hard to understand what the odds makers in Vegas are thinking. These odds will certainly change a lot if the Lakers go up 2-0 in the best of 7. Lakers legend Michael Cooper was a guest on Out of Bounds Friday night here on KBLA with me and my co-host Neil Scarborough. Cooper is the new head men's basketball coach at Cal State LA. The NBA Hall of Famer said he would like to recruit more student athletes from urban high schools in the LA area, like Dorsey, Crenshaw, Fairfax, Hamilton, and others. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Prince and the Revolution!
10 years ago, the world lost a genius.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life.
Prince trusted few people. Tavis Smiley was one of them.
Good evening from Los Angeles. I'm Tavis Smiley. Tonight, a rare conversation with one of music's biggest superstars, Prince.
Prince opened up to Tavis in ways he rarely did with anyone else. Honest, unfiltered, and unforgettable. On Tuesday, April 21st, as we mark the 10th anniversary of his transition, experience 3 uninterrupted hours of Prince in his own words.
When people criticize my work and attack my personality, it doesn't help me. I can't do anything with it.
Don't just remember Prince, hear him.
We live in a place now that feels just about like a plantation. We're all indentured servants.
Tavis Smiley, Tuesday, April 21st, only on Tavis Smiley.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone in your community, or just taking a deep, calming breath when you need it. Nice. For mental health resources, check out loveyourmindtoday.org. At loveyourmindtoday.org, you'll find information that may help you get through a tough time. Things like tips for dealing with stress, how to navigate difficulties like financial worries, anger, substance use, and more. You can also find real stories of how people navigated their own mental health challenges. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is connecting you with services and solutions. Domestic violence and family violence is when someone in an intimate or family relationship tries to gain or maintain power and control over another through a wide range of abusive behaviors. Every single act may amount to abuse. Abuse can take on various forms: psychological and emotional, physical and economic, and sexual abuse. The Genesis Center Incorporated is a nationally recognized nonprofit domestic violence prevention and intervention organization, housing women and children from 30 days up to 2 years through emergency and transitional shelters. The Genesis Center also provides support services like mental health counseling, life skills classes, computer training, job referrals, after-school programs for children, field trips, tutoring, and comprehensive give direct legal services. If you need help or you'd like to donate or volunteer, call the Genesee Hotline, 1-800-479-7328. That's 1-800-479-7328, or visit Genesee.org. Everyone has the right to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
That right there is one of the coldest lyrics ever written. It is one of the coldest lyrics ever written in the history of music. Tomorrow, for all 3 hours on this program, we are celebrating the life, the legacy, the work, and witness the musical genius of Prince. All 3 hours tomorrow. We've been in the vault for weeks now of all of my conversations, trying to edit this thing into 3 hours, and tomorrow we're going to bring you the best of my conversations with Prince, including one where Shaka Khan and Larry Graham popped in and joined us for that conversation. So tomorrow, Prince plus a little Shaka, a little Larry Graham in one conversation. It's going to be an amazing show tomorrow. We've been working really hard to bring you this 3-hour tribute tomorrow. Later in this program, today, our last half hour, Mayte Garcia, Prince's former wife, who he wrote a couple songs for. Mayte comes live in studio today in our last half hour to join us in this pre-celebration today. But tomorrow we're going to love on Prince all 3 hours of this program, and I can't wait for you to hear that show tomorrow. While we are celebrating Prince tomorrow, you know what Donald Trump's doing tomorrow? Anyone? While we're celebrating Prince, Donald Trump at the White House tomorrow is going to join a group called Christians Engaged to Read from the Bible. Wow. I heard Marcus say, While we're celebrating Prince, he's going to be in the White House tomorrow reading from the Bible. So Christians Engaged is the organization. They have solicited a number of Trump cabinet officials to read tomorrow from the Bible. So all the warmongers are going to be reading from the good book tomorrow, including Pete Hegseth. You all saw that story.
Who leads Bible study.
Exactly. Who leads Bible study at the Pentagon. You all saw that crazy story of him quoting
a fake verse.
A fake verse in Pulp Fiction. He quoting Quentin Tarantino like it's actually in the Bible. I don't know that he knew that was not in the Bible. That's from a Quentin Tarantino movie, but that's ridiculous. But tomorrow they're actually reading from the real Bible, not the Quentin Tarantino script. But Hegseth, Marco Rubio, as I said, all the warmongers tomorrow are going to be reading from the Bible at the White House. Other Trump allies, House Speaker Mike Johnson, Ted Cruz, Franklin Graham, who had nothing to say about the way they went in on the Pope, the way Trump went in on the Pope. Franklin Graham ain't said nothing about that. But everybody tomorrow reading from the Bible on Tuesday, April 21st. So that's what you call, again, a weapon of mass distraction. Rather than take him to task for going in on the Pope and threatening the Pope, they decide they're going to read from the Bible at the White House while this Pope-Leo clash continues to simmer. You see that weapon of mass distraction. So the president is scheduled to read scripture via video from the Oval Office tomorrow during the 6 p.m. hour Eastern Standard Time. If you just really, want to put your Prince celebration on hold, pause for a second. You can check out Donald Trump reading from the Bible tomorrow during the 6 o'clock hour Eastern Time. Miss me with that, but if you want to check it out, you can. The last thing about this that fascinates me, I was curious. I told my staff to go find out where is he reading from. I'm just curious, what's he reading? He's reading from 2 Chronicles, or as he would say, 2 Chronicles. he's reading tomorrow from 2 Chronicles. So he's going Old Testament with it tomorrow. Marcus, I'm done with that. But what do you make of Donald Trump reading from the Bible tomorrow?
Well, I definitely had a vibe that it was going to be Old Testament.
Yeah.
I also think that the most impressive and important part to view for those who will see is that part where we see him take the plastic off of his Bible.
Yeah. Who knew? Marcus does comedy too. He just had a brilliant professor at UCLA. He'll be here all weekend. Two shows nightly. Tip your waitresses.
Catch me at the Laugh Factory every Thursday.
Exactly. 2 shows nightly. Tip your waitresses. Marcus Anthony Hunter does comedy as well. Yeah, that would be great if they show us the part where he rips the plastic off the Bible.
Right. Right.
Anyway, I get a kick out of Donald Trump sometimes. It's sick and sad the way he's leading us down the rabbit hole. But some of the stuff, all you can do is laugh at it. It's just ludicrous. But I digress on that. I mentioned earlier that Marcus is traveling. That's why he's not in studio. He always comes in to see me and give me a big hug, and I appreciate that. No hug today, at least except virtually, I guess.
Right.
He's on the road, but there's some interesting stuff going on in Washington State, and I'm gonna let Marcus tee it up. So Marcus, you know what I'm talking about. Run with it.
Yes. Yeah, and if I can start just by connecting it to Prince the way you did, because as we remember him, we must always remember that genius can reshape culture, but ownership determines who benefits from it. Mm-hmm. And Prince spent his life fighting for control over his music, his masters, his names. And in many ways, that is a reparations story, and it's about reclaiming what was always yours. And so in the case of Washington, it is move forward with legislation and a call to do a reparations study, making it the 3rd state in the nation to enter into this work. And one of the challenges that's happened has been that the process that was adjudicated by the Department of Commerce in procuring a bidder who would do this research has a number of procedural issues. Many of which I applied as a bidder. I was invited by someone from the community to do so. And through that process, not only did I discover a series of procedural irregularities, but also any attempt to try to get any sort of correction was met with no. Even all the way up to the former director of the Department of Commerce, a man named Joe Nguyen. And then I was in many ways compelled to hire a lawyer in order to get the debrief, which is a part of their overall process. Even after that, time and time again, I've worked my way up the chain to the first Black Attorney General, Nick Brown. And I, after months of waiting, received a response that says by state law, the Attorney General of Washington is the lawyer for the agencies, not the lawyer with oversight based on a community's need. So now I have a letter that I sent to the governor, Governor Bob Ferguson, who actually signed this bill into law. And what's important about this is that unlike some other cases where we have bills of reparations being signed into law, this particular bill in Washington State also had very specific stipulations around expertise and also around scholarship. So a person had to have a degree in one of 9 specified areas by law. Then you also had to have at least 3 pieces of scholarship, policy reports, or citably published documents in the world that can be found. And ultimately, what emerged from that procurement process was a firm named Trueclusion, which specializes in diversity, equity, and inclusion. And part of the dilemma here, I think, one, is that reparations is sacred work. The process itself should not produce any harm. It should be about repairing or reducing harm. So as someone who participated in the process of procurement, I experienced and endured multiple financial injuries, a bunch of psychological injuries, and a bunch of reputational injuries, and a lot of time and labor sent to try to get some remedy or insight from folks. And what's also really important about this is that in Washington State, unlike other states, the state put forward a $300,000 budget. under the agreement that the community had agreed to raise the other $700,000 to make it $1 million for the study. As we talk today, the community, everyday regular Black Washingtonians have raised $50,000 short of $1 million and are now in a place where they either have to give the money over to a company they did not participate in selecting and also have serious concerns about its expertise, or the question becomes, may it just need to be restarted, to be recalibrated, to make sure, one, at the beginning, why was there only 3 bids that Washington State received, including mine? How is the third state in the nation only receiving 3 bids for a study of this historic proportion? And also, if the Attorney General doesn't have oversight, what is the governor going to say about this? Because ultimately, it's his bill. And so part of what I think is important here is that we understand that Washington State, if we don't really start to pay our attention to it and we let it go as it will not only stand in as a potential blueprint as it spreads across the country,
right,
but also when opponents come for this process, as we know they do with reparations, they're going to scrutinize everything from the legislation to the procurement to the study. And right at the procurement, there are a number of procedural issues that cannot be resolved by just telling people no.
Hold that thought. I'll let you continue when we come forward here. I got a couple questions myself about what's happening in Washington State. Didn't want to interrupt while he laid the foundation, but questions for him once he wraps the presentation here on Tavis Smiley.
From Leimert Park with love, this is Tavis Smiley.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, host of The Voice of Reason, weeknights at 7 p.m. here on KBLA Talk 1580, with a personal invitation for you to join me and Insight.me as we present The Healing Box, live at Inglewood's world-famous Miracle Theater, Saturday evening, May 23rd at 7 p.m. Look, I understand your attachment style has been running your life like a rogue algorithm, and nobody has had the courage to press pause. Until now, Dr. Bakoya McCall and yours truly are curating a night where clinicians, spiritualists, and an all-star panel of Black woman healers like Dr. Shalonda Sunshine Crawford, Dr. Jeh Johnson, and spiritualist Precious McGill will join some amazing spoken word artists and the legendary comedian Louis Dix to diagnose, disrupt, and heal your relational wreckage in real time. Listen, bring your trauma. As a matter of fact, bring your baby mama. No, bring your testimony. And if you're still texting your ex at 2 a.m., baby, you're not just invited, you're the target demo. Tickets are moving fast, so grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before your dating history gets flagged as a pre-existing condition. That's themiracleinglewood.com. We'll see you there Saturday, May 23rd at 7 p.m.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Mayfresh Daily in Leimert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley, Marcus Anthony Hunter. Marcus, I got 2 minutes here. Finish your presentation. I got some questions I want to ask you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, ultimately, the larger point for me has been that there are a series of procedural errors that have basically involved the violation of my own due process as a bidder in the process, and also has then been paired with ignoring of the community that has been fundraising the lion's share of this money, and that it's time for the governor to step in and take ownership over the legislation that he authorized.
You mentioned that Washington will be the third state. Let me just go back to one of those other states, California, where you and I both reside. And in both of these instances, let's just keep it real, in both instances, the governors said one thing, and the governors did another thing. I don't think you and I disagree on that, do we?
Oh no, we do not disagree.
Since we don't disagree, let me go further then. It raises the question of whether or not this reparations issue for states across the country, for certain governors, certainly those who want to run for president, is really about lip service. It's really about politics, but ain't nobody really serious about this issue of reparations. Don't get me started on Gavin Newsom on this issue here in California. And now I see the funny way that the governor is showing up in Washington State. So when we come forward, I want to give Marcus a few minutes to really respond to this. Here's my question. What is this really about? These governors are grabbing hold of this issue and advancing these notions of commissions. There's Washington State. We've had this conversation about Maryland that does have a black governor, Wes Moore. You heard my commentary, at least, partial commentary about Gavin Newsom here in California. How do we read this? I mean, Marcus talked about the fact that people engaged in this process, black folk in particular, shouldn't be harmed in the process of trying to get redress for the harm that's already been done to them. Okay, I resonate with that. And yet I don't know how seriously to take these elected officials these days when they advance these notions of doing something about reparations, because none of them really seem to be serious. I digress for now. We'll let Marcus respond when we come forward in our remaining moments with him on Tavis Smiley.
Helping to stretch your moral and political imagination. This is Tavis Smiley.
The joint will be jumping. Ebony Repertory Theater, in association with Big Street Films, brings you one of the most beloved musicals of all time. Tony Award winner, Ain't Misbehavin'. The soulful, swinging celebration of the music of Fats Waller. From the rollicking to the romantic, this show is pure magic, full of the songs that defined an era and the voices that'll make you forget everything else for a night. Foot-stomping, heart-stirring, unforgettable. Don't miss Ain't Misbehavin' at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center, starring Lettucey, directed by Ren T. Brown. This is the night out you've been waiting for. Tickets are going fast, so don't wait. Grab yours now at ebonyrep.org or call the box office today at 323-964-9766. Ebony Repertory Theater, bringing the culture, keeping the legacy alive.
Ain't Misbehavin' runs May 21st through June 8th at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center. Get your tickets now.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Marcus Anthony Hunter, at least for the next 4 minutes, and then we'll be joined by Dr. Cornel West, who kicks us off every Monday and Thursday, top of the second hour. So from one doctor, Dr. Marcus Anthony Hunter, to another Dr. Cornel West. I love all these brilliant black men that surround me every day. How blessed am I? How blessed are we to tap into their insights every day on this program? All right, Marcus, last 3 minutes belong to you. You heard my question a moment ago. I just feel like we're being yo-yoed. We're being toyed with on this, and whether it's California, Washington, or what else, I don't like it. I'd rather you just say I ain't down with it than to play this game with me.
Yeah, you're right. Reparations is not a branding exercise. That's the part that I think you're really getting at. It's truly a governing test. It asks whether leaders are willing to move from symbolic acknowledgement to material change, from statements to structures, from intention to impact. At its core, the nation is carrying a moral mortgage. It has never paid down. The debt is not abstract, it is historical, accumulated, and still accruing interest in the lives of Black people today. The question is who's willing to make a real payment and who keeps extending the note. This is not only a political moment, it is a moral and spiritual crossroads. Power always reveals purpose. For leaders like Governors Gavin Newsom, Wes Moore, and Bob Ferguson, the question is whether they are prepared to answer a calling or simply manage a moment. Reparations ask them to step beyond ambition and into alignment to meet the weight of history with courage and decision. Because missed opportunities here are not neutral. When payments on a moral mortgage are deferred, the cost does not disappear, it compounds. Foreclosure is on the horizon. And if a nation continues to avoid its obligations, it risks a kind of moral foreclosure where legitimacy erodes, trust collapses, and the social contract itself comes into question. History will record who chooses courage and who chooses caution. And until we see funding attached, timelines established, processes with integrity, and communities meaningfully empowered, we should treat these efforts not as endpoints, but as openings that require pressure, accountability, and sustained public engagement to be real. The spiritual truth is simple. You cannot claim to lead in a moment of repair and remain unchanged by it. Reparations will either transform leadership or it will expose its limits. And what you're getting at, Tavis, is the exposure of the limits that we continue to see that only an issue like reparations could reveal.
You got 45 seconds here. In the final analysis, how concerned are you, how concerned should we be about what's happening in Washington State becoming a blueprint for what not to do on this issue?
We should be very concerned because also we're talking about a state where Black people are roughly about 5% of the population. And we're seeing that in that amount, they are small but mighty people who can make something happen, and they should not be railroaded by the government and also the paper of record, the Seattle Times, to make people think that they like what is happening and that their input doesn't matter.
Marcus Anthony Hunter is a professor and founding chair of the Department of African American Studies at UCLA. He is author of the text, Radical Reparations, Healing the Soul of a Nation. One more again, Radical Reparations, Healing the Soul of a Nation, so he knows of what he speaks. Marcus, appreciate you, love you. I'll talk to you soon. Stay safe.
You already know.
When we come forward, Dr. Cornel West kicks off hour 2. I can only imagine he's got some Prince commentary tomorrow. The 10th anniversary of the death of Prince. And matter of fact, now I'm thinking about it, tomorrow is the 5th anniversary of the passing of his precious mother, Miss Irene. His mother and Prince passed away on the same day, believe it or not, 5 years apart. So I know Doc's going to be celebrating Prince tomorrow and thinking of his mother, as I am even today. Prince appeared on one of Doc's spoken word albums. So how lucky was he? How blessed was he to get Prince on one of his projects? So I'm sure he'll have something to say about Prince at the top of the next hour, and we'll jump from there. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Former Vice President Kamala Harris criticized President Trump at a Chicago summit, saying his war with Iran has weakened the U.S.
He thumbs his nose at the importance of America's alliances, our friendships, and he thumbs his nose at America's responsibility to uphold standards such as sovereignty and territorial integrity. See Ukraine.
She also urged Democrats to focus on child care, health care, and housing ahead of November. The Trump administration is rolling out a tariff refund system starting today. Importers can apply for refunds from $166 billion paid before the Supreme Court struck down the tariffs. Consumers won't receive refunds directly, though some companies may offer reimbursement later. And rapper Pusha T and his wife Virginia Williams are celebrating the birth of their second son. The couple shared the news on Instagram, with Big Brother proudly holding the newborn. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Recall 67A mobile appointments are now available in your area. We come to you quick, easy, and under an hour. Complete the recall to get $500 plus a warranty worth thousands. Schedule today at CumminsRecall.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Houston Rockets are 4.5-point favorites to beat the Lakers Tuesday night in Game 2 of their first-round playoff series, despite losing Game 1 and despite the uncertainty of Kevin Durant's availability. Durant sat out Game 1 with a sore knee. He's listed as a game-time decision for Game 2 at Crypto.com. With Durant not being completely healthy and Game 2 here in LA, it's hard to understand what the odds makers in Vegas are thinking. These odds will certainly change a lot if the Lakers go up 2-0 in the best of 7. Lakers legend Michael Cooper was a guest on Out of Bounds Friday night here on KBLA with me and my co-host Neil Scarborough. Cooper is the new head men's basketball coach at Cal State LA. The NBA Hall of Famer said he would like to recruit more student athletes from urban high schools in the LA area, like Dorsey, Crenshaw, Fairfax, Hamilton, and others. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
There is no denying that we've always been the conscience of this country. KBLA Talk 1580 is progressive talk radio built for our community, by our community, and with hosts who look like you, live near you, and care about what you care about. 50,000 watts of truth right here in Southern California. KBLA Talk 1580. Listen live on your AM radio dial at 1580 or stream us live on our KBLA1580.com website or on our free KBLA 1580 app.
Unapologetically progressive.
A spark of magic in your eyes. Candyland appears each time you smile. Never thought that fairy tales came true, but they come true when I'm near you. You're a genie in disguise.
So Prince wrote some of the greatest songs ever penned. I mentioned earlier in this program today that you can't do much better than adore. It's hard to pick a favorite in Prince's body of work, his prodigious and amazing body of work. But for me, Adore is his greatest ballad. I told him that repeatedly. We talked about that time and time again. But it means something, given the great songwriter that he was, when he chooses to cover your song. Somebody got a big paycheck. Turn it up, Miles. Dr. Cornel West chooses his own walk-on music every Monday and Thursday, top of the second hour. Dr. West, talk to me about this track, man.
Well, you know, it's the first time
that Prince decided to cover a song and put it on his album. It's on the Emancipation album, his 19th album. There are 3 records on that album. Tom Bell, born in Jamaica, genius tied to the Philly sound. Linda Creed, Sister Linda Epstein, the Jewish sister who wrote so many of the songs with Tom Bell. And of course, that song was written for the stylistic, the genius of Russell Tompkins Jr. And when Prince sang that song, you can imagine, brother, he was wrestling with the death of his precious son, Amir, man. We were so blessed to know him. And I don't think I ever met anybody who had such an intense sense of calling, an intense sense of vocation, an intense sense of discipline. But so much of what was going on in his heart, mind, and soul was put in his music, even when he chose somebody else's song to cover.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, when you see the official video of this song, man, it just brings tears to your eyes, man.
Yeah.
It really does, man. There's nobody like him, though, brother. We were blessed to know him and go to Montreux with him. I never saw the brother sleep. I must say, I never saw him sleep 1 second.
Yeah.
Remember, he would do a show, then go out with us and stay until 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, then write songs in the morning. I said, good God, brother, take a nap. Take a nap, man.
I've told this story before. It is a true story. Somebody once asked Michael Jackson why he wouldn't sleep. As we all know, sadly, Michael Jackson dies from that propofol overdose because he couldn't sleep, and he was using drugs to try to get some rest. Sad that these two geniuses both are dead because of drug overdoses. In Prince's case, not recreational. In Michael's case, not recreational, nonetheless. As genius as they were, both dead for the same reasons, drugs. That said, somebody once asked Michael Jackson why he wouldn't go to sleep. Why can't you sleep? Why won't you sleep? And Michael said, I'm afraid if I go to sleep, God's going to give all the good ideas to Prince. I'm afraid if I close my eyes and go to sleep, God's going to give all the good ideas to Prince. I can't close my eyes. I can't go to sleep. It's a funny story. It is a true story. And to Dr. West's point, Prince called me one day and asked me, Tavis, what are you doing in a couple of weeks? I said, when? He gave me the dates. I said, I don't know. I'm in LA working. I haven't made any summer plans yet. He said, I'm playing Montreux. Why don't you come with me? I said, wow. I said, I've been to Montreux, but never been to Montreux with Prince. So he said, why don't you come? He said, what's Dr. West doing? I said, I called him and I asked him. So I called Dr. West. I said, Prince has invited us to Montreux. You want to go? Doc said, I'm already there. Where you at? I'm at the airport waiting on you, Negro. I'm here at the airport already. Where are you? That's how fast Doc was ready to roll to Montreux. So we out in the plane, and we went to Montreux. We hung out with Prince in Montreux for days. And Doc, I will never forget. I've talked about it many times, but I'll never forget the night that after that show, you're right, Prince did Montreux, killed it. After that, we went to a little club and stayed there for a while. And Prince said, let's head out. We went back to the hotel. And because he's Prince, he has the top floor of the nicest hotel in Montreux. And the top floor, the entire floor is the suite, a presidential suite. They didn't call it presidential suite, but that's what it is. It's the top floor of the hotel. It's the grandest suite in the city of Montreux. Prince has the whole floor, and the top floor opens up with these French doors out to a balcony. And you walk out on that balcony, I can see it. I'm closing my eyes now as I describe this. I can feel this. You walk out on that balcony, and it feels like you can reach your finger out and touch the snow-capped mountains. That's how close you are to these mountains in Switzerland. Just the most beautiful view I've ever seen. So Prince escorts Doc and I out there. We sat out there on that balcony, and we stayed out there, Doc will attest to this, until the sun came up. And most of that night, Prince did all the talking. Prince loved to be around Dr. West. He asked me to bring a lot of scholars and academics to him, people whose work and witness he admired. He's such a voracious reader, loved reading and loved talking to smart people. And so that's how Dr. West met him. Doc says, Prince said, I want to meet Dr. West. I said, sure, I'll bring him over. And other folk, he called me, do this, bring this person, bring that person. I was always in service to Prince and happy to be so. We sat on that balcony that night. And that night, as opposed to Prince asking Doc a bunch of questions and Doc doing all the talking, Prince talked that night for hours about Michael Jackson. Michael had passed away. And Prince just expressed himself. And Doc and I just sat there and took it all in. Doc, I know you recall that night.
Oh, my God, very much so. He had a lot on his heart, a lot on his soul. And keep in mind, he had already thrown down and had one of the great performances in the history of Montreux that night before the club and before the dialogue.
That's right.
So the level of energy, vitality, vibrancy, and this is something I think that all of us need to take, or as they say, take it and run.
Yeah.
Because Prince's legacy is not just in the music, it's in the heart and soul of how to live, how to give, how to serve, how to empty yourself.
Yeah.
Pour it into others.
No. It was quite a night that I will never forget as long as I live. I suspect Doc feels the same way. He mentioned Amir, the son that Prince lost, the only child that Prince lost. The mother of Amir, Mayte Garcia, comes live in studio in about
God bless.
about an hour and 15 minutes. So Mayte will be here, and she and I will talk about Prince and celebrate him the day before the 10th anniversary of his passing. Tomorrow, of course, Tuesday, April 21st. That is the day that we lost Prince 10 years ago. Tomorrow, it's also the day we lost a mother to me, Doc's mother, Miss Irene Bias West. She passed away 5 years ago on the very same day. We're going to talk about Prince a bit more and about Miss Irene as well when we come forward on Tavis Smile.
From California to the Carolinas, everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning, the cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Paid for by government. The 1986 to 2021 United States Silver Eagle, the first ever U.S. silver dollar minted in 99.9% pure silver and is the best-selling coin in the world. These original and historic silver dollars have ceased production forever. They will never be minted again. For a limited time only, full-pound bags of original U.S. government-struck silver dollars are being released to the public. You can own a full pound of original U.S. silver dollar coins featuring Lady Liberty and the heraldic eagle, never to be struck again. Guaranteed. Call now to secure original United States Silver Eagles by the pound. The first U.S. silver dollars ever to be struck in 99.9% pure silver. Plus, receive a free bonus, an American Collector's Pack valued at over $40 and free shipping with every order. Call 1-800-560-6468 now to secure your full pound bag of United States Silver Eagle coins before they are gone. That's 1-800-560-6468.
58 years ago, a bullet tried to silence a dream. It couldn't. On April 4th, 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was taken from us. Not because he failed, but because he was winning. Winning the fight for a nation determined to live up to its promise. That fight didn't end then, and it can't end now. California is the most powerful state and the most powerful country on earth. But right now, too many people are being left behind, priced out of their homes, locked out of opportunity, told to wait for justice that's already long overdue. Dr. King didn't wait. He taught us the fierce urgency of now and acted. Now it's up to us to carry that same urgency today. We need leaders who will fight the triple evils of poverty, racism, and militarism. Not someday, now. On this anniversary, let's honor Dr. King the only way that truly counts, by doing the work. Ad paid for by Steyer for Governor 2026.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
I want to send a heartfelt thanks to my dear brother Prince. He shows deep love, and I embrace it. He is the artistic genius in our midst. He is a musical artist among us. Raise your Socratic questions to the system. Bear witness to justice against the system. Be true to who you are and be true to the grand vision that keeps track of the least of these. Break it down, Brother Prince.
What's wrong with the world today? Things just got to get better. Show me what the leaders say. Maybe we should write a letter. Said, dear Mr. Man, we don't understand why poor people keep struggling, but you don't lend a helping hand. Matthew 5:5 say, the meek shall inherit the earth. We wanna be down that way, but you've been tripping since the day of your birth. Who said that to kill is a sin? It started at Brasenko War. That your people beat in.
Tomorrow on this program, all 3 hours, Prince in his own words. We are digging into the vault of my many conversations with him and editing them and weaving this thing together to give you an experience tomorrow. I think it really is going to be an experience. Prince for all 3 hours in his own words. Chaka Khan, Larry Graham make cameos in these conversations tomorrow. It's going to be a great 3 hours tomorrow, giving you, again, the best of Prince in his own words, and that's the best way to honor him. I said, and we'll say again on this program tomorrow, there's really only one word to describe Prince, and it's simply Prince. There's just no other word to describe him but to call him by his name. Say his name, and what amazing and artistic genius he was. I had the honor of sitting with Prince for more conversations than anybody else, and that's why I can bring you a 3-hour conversation and still not use all my content. I was blessed to have so many conversations with him, but I never had a chance to record with Prince. Prince called me on stage a number of times, including one night at the Garden. I'm at the Garden one night. He says, Tavis, get up here. Man, I lost my mind. I ran up on that stage so fast with Prince at the Garden one night, but honored to be on stage with him a number of times around the world. But Dr. West had the honor of recording a track with Prince. Doc, tell me the backstory. Tell us the backstory of how that happened, man.
Well, it was really, my blood brother Clifton, Mike Daly, and brother DOA, Derek Allen, came up with the idea. Prince, as you know, would never allow any of his music to be sampled by any hip-hop artist or spoken word.
Mm-hmm.
And so I told him, I said, when we got back from Paisley Park, and I said, well, good God Almighty, I don't want to try to take advantage of anything. I said, but Mike, you go on and call. So Mike called his people, and the same day Prince got back and said, yes, I'll do it for Brother West. I couldn't believe it, man.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe it, though, brother. So it was, again, a blessing. It was an honor. It was a privilege, and it was a joy. And it was that kind of love that he had, though, man. He had that kind of love for you. He had that love for me. Of course, my blood brother Cliff, you remember he went to Paisley Park with us.
Mm-hmm.
He had that kind of love for me. And it's very interesting. I was just talking to my beloved wife, Anahita, about Mom. And Mom used to look at Prince, and she'd say, he looks like he actually comes out of Egypt and Greece at the same time in terms of his beauty. He just looks beautiful. And she was saying that before she even got to the music. Now, Mom was in the, Dakota State and then Dinah Washington and Mahalia Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
You know how Mom was in her music. Now, she's a Christian woman deeply tied to the Gospels. and a little Dinah Washington. But she used to see him. She said, he looks like he's just emerging out of the mythologies of Egypt as well as Greece. I said, Mom, Lord have mercy.
What do you make of the fact? I got two questions in my head right quick. Let me push them out as fast as I can so I don't forget them. The first is what you make of the fact that your mother and Prince made their transition on the same day, 5 years apart, but on the same day, Doc.
Yeah, well, it's just the kind of God we serve, though, brother. Providence is always working in complicated ways. None of us fully grasp, but it's mystery. It's inexplicable and ineffable, but at the same time, it's still there.
Yeah.
And the very April 2/1.
Yeah.
Every time we come to that day, I have to just move in silence because I'm too overcome, of course, with Mom passing. I mean, that's a whole different gravitas with Mom.
Yeah.
But then the very fact that Brother Prince too passes just lets me know that there's something always working behind the scenes that's bigger than us, trying to lure the best of us so that we can be, in the language of John Coltrane, the forces of good that God meant us to be.
Yeah. I don't want to be reductionist, and I hope this doesn't come across as mean-spirited, but I'm going to keep it real because that's the only way I know how to come. I have said many times in my career that all opinions are not created equal. They're just not.
That's true.
There are some folk who give me an opinion. I'm like, thank you very much. The other folk tell me something. I got to sit down and think about it. All opinions are not created equal. I've told this story many times about the night I interviewed Burt Reynolds. And Burt Reynolds told me that he was at a restaurant one night and saw Marlon Brando sitting over in the corner. And Brando is his hero. He walks over and introduces himself to Marlon Brando. And Brando says, I know who you are. I've seen some of your work. And you, young man, are going to be a great actor. You are going to be a really good actor. I've seen your stuff. Burt Reynolds told me after that, you couldn't tell him nothing. Because he said, I stopped reading reviews. You couldn't tell me nothing. Because Marlon Brando told me that I was a good actor. And that's all I need to know. You couldn't tell me nothing after that because Marlon Brando said it. I raised that because the reason why Prince said yes same day to you to do something he didn't do for anybody else, didn't do for others, is because that time that he spent with you, we were all there together, but the time that we spent together at Paisley Park, he got to know you, he got to see you, he got to hear you, he got to feel you. As you recall, we were talking, he wanted me to put together a little conference at Paisley Park. It was about xenophobia. Do you recall this?
That's right. That's exactly right.
You were so brilliant that day, over 2 days, a couple of days. You were so brilliant unpacking. He invited a lot of his fans to come to Paisley Park, just decided he wanted to do a conference on xenophobia. He just decided, because Prince could do that, right? So he put together a conference, called me, asked me to help him, and I leaned in. Again, always happy to serve him, and I got Doc and some other scholars and others to show up, and we went to Paisley Park and did a 2 or 3 day symposium inside Paisley Park on xenophobia. But the way you presented touched him and impacted him in such a meaningful way. That's why the answer yes came back to you so quickly. Why am I saying that? Because it must mean something to you as it does to me that somebody of his brilliance, of his intellect, of his witness saw something in you that he wanted to celebrate. That's a beautiful thing, Doc.
Oh, no, you're right about that, though, brother. And it works at the level of spirit. It works at the level of soul that I know I'll never be the genius that he was, but to be able to revel in the same zone of his spirit and for him to be so affirming and so encouraging of what I've been trying to do really is it just knows no language for it, though, brother. You are absolutely right, though. But he did the same thing to you.
Oh yeah, no question.
Remember he would change the words. He would change the words of the song, man, and start singing about you.
Oh yeah,
right there at Madison Square Garden. We get up there and start dancing. I mean, I was up there with Whoopi Goldberg. I don't know how I ended up dancing with her.
Yeah,
right there on the stage, he'd sing, but he brought Tavis name into the song. I said, Tavis, man,
No,
I just think about you, brother.
No, that was his thing. That was his game he played with me every concert, and I saw more than I can count, of course, around the world. But he would always find some point in some song to weave my name in it, and after the show, that was the test. Did you hear your name? What song was it in? What lyric was it in? Always this game he played with me, and it was funny, but I loved it. I am thinking about Miss Irene as well. You mentioned her earlier. I mentioned her earlier. I want to come back to that because I've heard you say more times than I can count in speeches. Speaking of the world, I've traveled with Prince. I've traveled with Doc, and I'm the better for it. But I've heard Doc say so many times that we are who we are because somebody loved us. We are who we are because somebody loved us. I can feel you coming through this phone line here. Again, tomorrow, the anniversary of your precious mother, Miss Irene's passing. Unpack that phrase as it relates to Irene Bias West, that you are who you are because she loved you.
Well, one is that because I know that I cannot conceive of who I am and what I am without her love, her service, her embrace, her smile. So that I'm not the kind of poet that it can capture the depth and breadth and scope of her love.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'll never be one half of the human being that she was, no matter what the world thinks of me, and no matter how many places I travel around the world. I know that I'll never be anywhere near who she was. And that's true for Dad, too, to tell you the truth. That's also true for my brother Clifton and Cynthia and Cheryl. So that I was just born in that kind of love fest. I was born in this kind of love-centered family, man, and I can't take any credit for it, brother. It's just like you and Miss Smiley, you and Mrs. Smiley, Miss Joyce Smiley. We can't take no credit for our mamas, man.
That's true. No credit whatsoever. Just a blessing.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's grace. That's gift, man.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
No. For those listening around the country right now, hold on to that. You are who you are. If you listen to me right now, you are who you are because somebody loved you. Might not have been your birth mama or your daddy, but you are who you are because somebody loved you. None of us walks this journey alone. Our destinies are inextricably tied to somebody else who poured some love into us, and we have turned out to be who we are. You mentioned this earlier about his vocation, his calling, his discipline. I got 60 seconds left here. 10 years after his passing, what is it about his work and witness that you think everyday people ought to be trying to emulate? What ought we be wrestling with tomorrow on this anniversary, courtesy of Prince, Doc?
Prince had the courage to tell the truth about himself, about this society and this world. He was a love warrior like John Coltrane and Nina Simone. He was willing to get in trouble, cut against the grain, fight the industry, keep the smile on his face, and keep the joy in his soul, and keep the love in his heart. And part of his legacy is that when you listen to his music, it's much more fresh than most music that was just released last year. It is as solid as a rock. It is new as foam. It is as visionary as King's vision, and at the same time, he was cool, brother. He had a sophisticated coolness about him. You know what I mean?
No question
And
about
then
it.
from Minneapolis, we're not talking about the geniuses from Mississippi. He's from Minneapolis, man.
No question about
He
it.
ain't from Detroit. He's not from South Side of Chicago like Curtis Mayfield. He's from Minneapolis, man.
He put Minneapolis, he put them on the map, and I've seen all the celebrations that are going on in Minneapolis to celebrate, commemorate him tomorrow, say nothing of his birthday on June the 7th. We love Prince. We miss him dearly. Tomorrow, all 3 hours of this program. Yeah, all 3 hours tomorrow. Prince in his own words. We just getting started early today with Dr. Cornel West with his love for Prince, and we'll be joined by Mayte Garcia, his former wife, in the last half hour of today's program. Love you, Doc. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Love you, brother. Stay strong now.
We don't understand. Maybe we should write a letter. letter.
This is getting good.
Yeah, man.
Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The NAACP in Northern California is working to boost youth voter turnout during high school voter education weeks. Oakland NAACP President Cynthia Adams.
We need to educate them how it's so important to vote. Your vote counts.
The Oakland chapter is working with Alameda County to register young voters of color. House Speaker Mike Johnson is calling it a heartbreaking tragedy after a mass shooting in Shreveport left 8 black children dead and 2 adults wounded. Police say the gunman, a father of 7, and the husband of one of the adult victims was killed by officers. And one of the men charged in the 2002 killing of Run DMC's Jam Master Jay is planning to plead guilty. Court records show Jay Bryant intends to change his plea, making the first courtroom admission in the legendary rapper's murder case. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Recall 67A mobile appointments are now available in your area. We come to you quick, easy, and under an hour. Complete the recall to get $500 plus a warranty worth thousands. Schedule today at CummonsRecall.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Houston Rockets are 4.5-point favorites to beat the Lakers Tuesday night in Game 2 of their first-round playoff series, despite losing Game 1 and despite the uncertainty of Kevin Durant's availability. Durant sat out Game 1 with a sore knee. He's listed as a game-time decision for Game 2 at Crypto.com. With Durant not being completely healthy and Game 2 here in L.A., it's hard to understand what the odds makers in Vegas are thinking. These odds will certainly change a lot if the Lakers go up 2-0 in the best of 7. Lakers legend Michael Cooper was a guest on Out of Bounds Friday night here on KBLA with me and my co-host Neil Scarborough. Cooper is the new head men's basketball coach at Cal State LA. The NBA Hall of Famer said he would like to recruit more student athletes from urban high schools in the LA area, like Dorsey, Crenshaw, Fairfax, Hamilton, and others. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Prince and the Revolution.
10 years ago, the world lost a genius.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life.
Prince trusted few people. Tavis Smiley was one of them.
Good evening from Los Angeles. I'm Tavis Smiley. Tonight, a rare conversation with one of music's biggest superstars, Prince.
Prince opened up to Tavis in ways he rarely did with anyone else. Honest, unfiltered, and unforgettable. On Tuesday, April 21st, as we mark the 10th anniversary of his transition, experience 3 uninterrupted hours of Prince in his own words.
When people criticize my work and attack my personality, it doesn't help me. I can't do anything with it.
Don't just remember Prince, hear him.
We live in a place now that feels just about like a plantation. We're all indentured servants.
Tavis Smiley, Tuesday, April 21st, only on Tavis Smiley.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone in your community, or just taking a deep, calming breath when you need it. Nice. For mental health resources, check out loveyourmindtoday.org. At loveyourmindtoday.org, you'll find information that may help you get through a tough time. Things like tips for dealing with stress, how to navigate difficulties like financial worries, anger, substance use, and more. You can also find real stories of how people navigated their own mental health challenges. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. The midterm election campaign season is here now. The 2028 presidential election is right around the corner. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. It's all in for 2026 and 2028. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
What a blessing that was to have Dr. West share his own reflections, his own thoughts about Prince. Again, tomorrow, all 3 hours of this program dedicated to Prince in tribute to him on what will be the 10th anniversary of his transition. Again, that's tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific until 12 noon Pacific, 3 straight hours. We've been in the vault for the last few weeks pulling out the best of my various conversations with him over the years. And so, again, all 3 hours tomorrow. We will celebrate Prince Rogers Nelson here on Tavis Smiley, but we thank Dr. West again for his reflections. Dr. West is here every Monday and Thursday, as you know, top of the second hour. So on the B side of the second hour, we always do something different. And today, the different is attorney and minority business advocate Amber Littlejohn to talk about the struggles of black entrepreneurs opening dispensaries and what equitable justice looks like as she efforts to reduce arrest and imprisonment for nonviolent cannabis offenses. Before I get to Amber, here is Donald Trump a few months ago in remarks on marijuana before signing the executive order to reclassify it. Take a listen.
Howard Kessler, a friend of mine, one of the most successful people in the country, came to see me on more than one occasion, actually. And he had some real difficulty about 3.5, 4 years ago. And he went through hell. And during his going through hell, he probably sampled everything you can sample when you're going through that, Howard. For sure. And he came to me, he said, there's been nothing like this. And we're going to have to take a good, strong look at it. And that's what he asked me to do. And others have likewise said that, many others. I mean, you know, again, it's I've never been inundated by so many people as I have about this particular reclassification.
So Amber, my big mama used to tell me all the time, Tavis, a broken clock is right twice a day. A broken clock is right twice a day. You see where I'm going. Was Donald Trump right about this one?
Yes. I mean, he is right about this. What he's speaking to here is his executive order to tell his Department of Justice to continue with the reclassification of cannabis from its current place on Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. This is a process that was started actually in the Biden administration that President Trump stopped when he took office and then entered an executive order to restart.
Yep. Why does this matter?
It matters because currently marijuana or cannabis sits on the schedule of controlled substances right alongside crack cocaine, heroin, and other drugs that the federal government has deemed highly addictive with no medical value. And as we've seen both in approved pharmaceutical drugs and the wide prevalence of successful marijuana medical marijuana programs, that this is no longer true.
Yep.
So we really do need to get to a place where at least our schedule of controlled substances is better aligned. Why that matters is that it's part of what controls criminal penalties, financial services, taxation, research, the access to cannabis for multiple populations like veterans, disabled, immigrants, and some of the penalties and access to benefits that go along with it.
Yep. When Donald Trump is engaged in his bloviating and bloviating and bluster, he would tell you he's the greatest president black folk have ever had. I ain't got time to wrestle with that nonsense today. He's the best president we ever had. But on this particular issue, as you said earlier, to your mind and the minds of many others, he did the right thing vis-a-vis this reclassification, which leads me to ask, you give me a broad frame just now with the commentary you just shared, but I'm asking you to go a little bit more. So I want to sort of double click this, or ask you to double click it, and tell me more about how this reclassification specifically impacts the lives of black folk in particular.
So really, reclassification itself isn't the end all.
Right.
There is reclassification, there is actual decontrolling or declassification, which would be kind of the ultimate goal. What it does, what reclassification would do, is it would, again, move some of these, move cannabis from this high schedule, which is just illicit. And for individuals that are currently incarcerated under federal law, unfortunately, our current federal laws that prescribe the mandatory minimums for marijuana are actually explicitly tied to marijuana. So the Congress would actually have to come back after rescheduling and then align federal sentencing guidelines for Schedule 3, which, again, it wouldn't happen automatically, but the obvious consequence of that would be an eventual revisiting of the mandatory minimums. What it also does is it kind of changes the conversation and the stigma. Here you have I don't know if conservative would be the term. You have a president who is definitely on the far right side of politics, speaking to the benefits of a plant that has been villainized. And he is speaking about use by people that are his friends. And so we are starting to move culturally away from this idea that cannabis is consumed by criminal-minded black and brown people for the purpose of swaying your children into bad behavior.
Let me press forward here now with a conversation that I want to have with you about black folk, black entrepreneurs, and these dispensaries. I've been at this long enough, Amber, in my career to know that just because they swing the doors open doesn't mean that we get a chance to walk through. Just because they create an on-ramp doesn't mean that we get a chance to take it. Doesn't mean we always have access to it, whatever we're talking about. In this case, we're talking about these cannabis dispensaries. Give me some sense of that, since I'm using these traffic metaphors. Give me some sense of that intersection of black people and dispensaries.
So when the state started to legalize cannabis and really sort of looking at the political push points that needed to kind of really be kind of driven to get these programs through, one of the things that emerged are cannabis social equity programs. And I frame it like that, not because I don't believe that some people actually believe in this, but just how things have played out. We have seen that commitment to these programs really varies. So cannabis social equity programs are kind of an umbrella for a multitude of things, whether that be criminal justice reform measures, community reinvestment, and inclusion in the industry. And so while we have 42 states that have a medical program and 24 states that have an adult use program, we only have 17 states that actually have a cannabis social equity program. And generally speaking, these programs are aimed at getting the individuals from the communities that have been most impacted by the enforcement of cannabis laws involved in the industry. They vary. These programs vary widely. Some of them are just, again, maybe priority in application, but as you've mentioned, access to capital, expertise, and other barriers really still exist. There are states that have gone much further and had amazing results in terms of getting people to get applied, approved, and actually get their doors open. And so really much of it depends on whether the state is realistic about addressing the issues with access to capital, because this is an industry where access to capital is challenging, and then you overlay that with access to capital in the Black community, and you have kind of a recipe for failure.
Yeah, I want to ask when we come forward whether or not access to capital in this industry is more difficult than any other industry that Black people are trying to access, number one. And then I want to talk to Amber Littlejohn about her work to reduce arrest and imprisonment for nonviolent cannabis offenses. You're listening to Amber Littlejohn on Tavis Smile.
Generous listening.
Charitable listening.
It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, host of The Voice of Reason, weeknights at 7 p.m. here on KBLA Talk 1580, with a personal invitation for you to join me and Insight.me as we present The Healing Box, live at Inglewood's world-famous Miracle Theater, Saturday evening, May 23rd at 7 p.m. Look, I understand your attachment style has been running your life like a rogue algorithm, and nobody has had the courage to press pause. Until now, Dr. Pakoya McCall and yours truly are curating a night where clinicians, spiritualists, and an all-star panel of Black woman healers like Dr. Shalonda Sunshine Crawford, Dr. Jeh Johnson, and spiritualist Precious McGill will join some amazing spoken word artists and the legendary comedian Louis Dix to diagnose, disrupt, and heal your relational wreckage in real time. Listen, bring your trauma. As a matter of fact, bring your baby mama. No, bring your testimony. And if you're still texting your ex at 2 a.m., baby, you're not just invited, you're the target demo. Tickets are moving fast, so grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before your dating history gets flagged as a pre-existing condition. That's themiracleinglewood.com. We'll see you there Saturday, May 23rd at 7 p.m.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fan favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the
right seat. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed with attorney and minority business advocate Amber Littlejohn. Pleased to have her on this program today as we talk about the impact some months ago of Donald Trump signing an executive order to reclassify cannabis in this country. and some other issues I'll get to here in just a moment with regard to equitable justice. But to the point you were making a moment ago, Amber, my time is getting away from me, is the access to capital for black entrepreneurs hoping to open dispensaries any more difficult, more challenging than our trying to access capital for anything else that we undertake?
Absolutely. You're talking about something that is still federally illegal. So most traditional financial institutions aren't going to lend to cannabis businesses. On top of that, we have restrictions on capital markets, other banking tools. So the capital that exists is very limited and it is very expensive. And so overlaying that with a overall issue of access to capital for black businesses, it is extraordinarily challenging for these businesses to get up and running. We've seen some states do a good or better job at addressing this, and that has absolutely impacted the number of black business owners within the state.
Yeah. How do we read the fact, no naivete here, Amber, no naivete at all. How do you read the fact that in this particular business, of all businesses, that black folk are still coming up short?
Unfortunately, this is something that we've seen over and over again, where the black community serves as the cultural leaders, the drivers, the inventors, and yet they struggle to have access to a kind of commercialized or legal market. And so we're seeing that again here, where, you have big, you even have celebrities that are struggling to capitalize their businesses and get them off the ground. Because again, there is a desire to leverage black culture, but not necessarily provide access to the wealth.
I've seen a few celebrities, some of whom I know personally, who had a grand opening and then a grand closing of their dispensary. Grand opening, grand closing. I digress for now. In our remaining moments with Amber, when we come forward, I want to ask her again about her work and witness in the space of equitable justice, specifically what can still be done to reduce these arrests and imprisonment for nonviolent cannabis offenses. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
In a world full of noise, one voice cuts through. Tavis Smiley has never backed down from the hard questions, never shied away from speaking truth to power and to the powerless, and he's not about to start now. This is the show people talk about, the one your coworkers quote, the one that gets under your skin in the best way. Tavis Smiley, nationally syndicated, unapologetically progressive, unapologetically real.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. These are hard times for housing in America. Too many in our community face barriers to safe housing, behavioral health care, and affirming spaces for healing, particularly those impacted by poverty and stigma or incarceration. Rooted in South LA, Ahmad supports impacted communities through housing, wellness, and leadership development. Ahmad provides culturally responsive, peer-led support from transitional housing and mental health services to leadership development and youth empowerment. They offer safe, affirming houses for youth, transgender women, and formerly incarcerated individuals. Therapy and peer support with a focus on healing trauma in Black communities. HIV prevention and care, free testing, education, and wraparound services for whole person wellness. Standing in the gap with health, housing, and hope. Reach out to Ahmad Institute at 323-569-1610. That's 323-569-1610. Or visit amaad.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, Because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person. Complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
And the top-rated African-American talk show host in the nation, according to Talkers Magazine. You're tapped in with Tavis Smiley right now.
Tavis Smiley and Amber Littlejohn got a tight 4 minutes here left. In some states, black people are 70 times more likely to be arrested for cannabis possession than white people. In 31 states, racial disparities in marijuana arrests actually widened between 2010 and 2018, and despite the legalization of marijuana in numerous states, in 2018 alone, there were nearly 700,000 marijuana arrests, and black people still disproportionately targeted. If I had more time, I could give you more data. None of it good news, and yet I'm grateful that Amber and others are doing the kind of work in this equitable justice space to get these arrests reduced, to deal with imprisonment for nonviolent cannabis offenses. In that regard, with 3 minutes to go, Amber, what's happening? What are we doing in that space?
So one of the really key drivers of reducing cannabis arrests overall is going to be legalization. We see actually a report just came out that we are seeing decreases as over 80% for arrests from possession and sales. With that said, they're still disproportionately arresting people of color. So two places that I think are the most important and where I have done the most work is in making sure that, one, we are pushing towards legalization and that the laws we are putting forth really help to chip away at some of the harm done by the laws and how they've been enforced, whether that be through equity programs, but really most importantly is community reinvestment, meaning where are these tax dollars going? And they should be directed into communities, not just for opening businesses, but through education programs, reentry programs, expungement, things that are really helping to undo that harm. And so I have worked both with congressional leaders and state legislators in putting forth and passing laws to that effect.
Yeah, I keep reading that these disparities, Amber, are primarily driven by what we know to be, of course, a disproportionate police presence, which leads to searches and arrests in communities of color.
Yes, and when you overlay that with the fact that there is no, breathalyzer test, and so at the point of stop, you're going to still have the same discretion left to the officer. So where somebody may let somebody just go because they smell cannabis, in situations where the driver or the passenger is black, you are far more likely to see that lead to a search and an actual detention of the driver. And so these are things that, again, through the laws and through research, we are working to address, because expungements can help, but they don't holistically, they don't go far to stop the problem and really remedy the harm that's been done.
3.6 to 4 times more likely are black folk to be arrested for marijuana possession than white people in the country. I mentioned in some states it's as high as 70 times more likely, but the national average, 3.6 to 4 times more likely are black folk to be arrested for marijuana possession than white people. And just in case you're curious, the highest disparity states in the country, I don't get this list, but here's the list: Montana, West Virginia, Iowa, Kentucky, and Illinois. Montana, West Virginia, Iowa, Kentucky, and Illinois are the places where black people are most likely to be arrested for marijuana possession as compared to white people. I'm out of time. I'll leave it there for now, but I'm grateful for the work that Amber Littlejohn is doing in these spaces as an attorney and minority business advocate. Amber, thanks for your work, your witness, and thanks for this conversation. I deeply appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you, and take care.
Thank you. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The NAACP in Northern California is working to boost youth voter turnout during high school voter education weeks. Oakland NAACP President Cynthia Adams.
We need to educate them how it's so important to vote. Your vote counts.
The Oakland chapter is working with Alameda County to register young voters of color. House Speaker Mike Johnson is calling it a heartbreaking tragedy after a mass shooting in Shreveport left 8 black children dead and 2 adults wounded. Police say the gunman, a father of 7, and the husband of one of the adult victims was killed by officers. And one of the men charged in the 2002 killing of Run DMC's Jam Master Jay is planning to plead guilty. Court records show Jay Bryant intends to change his plea, making the first courtroom admission in the legendary rapper's murder case. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Recall 67A mobile appointments are now available in your area. We come to you quick, easy, and under an hour. Complete the recall to get $500 plus a warranty worth thousands. Schedule today at CumminsRecall.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Houston Rockets are 4.5-point favorites to beat the Lakers Tuesday night in Game 2 of their first-round playoff series, despite losing Game 1 and despite the uncertainty of Kevin Durant's availability. Durant sat out Game 1 with a sore knee. He's listed as a game-time decision for Game 2 at Crypto.com. With Durant not being completely healthy and Game 2 here in L.A., it's hard to understand what the odds makers in Vegas are thinking. These odds will certainly change a lot if the Lakers go up 2-0 in the best of 7. Lakers legend Michael Cooper was a guest on Out of Bounds Friday night here on KBLA with me and my co-host Neil Scarborough. Cooper is the new head men's basketball coach at Cal State LA. The NBA Hall of Famer said he would like to recruit more student athletes from urban high schools in the LA area, like Dorsey, Crenshaw, Fairfax, Hamilton, and others. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
When the story gets twisted, who's going to tell the truth? When they cut the microphones, who's still talking? When history gets rewritten, who remembers what really happened? We do. KBLA Talk 1580. Black media isn't just important right now, it's essential. Because when mainstream outlets move on, we stay. When the headlines ignore our communities, we don't. When decisions are being made that affect black lives in our schools, our neighborhoods, our economy, KBLA is in the room. This is more than radio. This is a lifeline, a record, a rallying cry. Black stories, black voices, black power.
The heat is on
the air and in the culture. KBLA Talk 1580. Stay connected, stay informed, stay loud.
Stand up!
Tavis Smiley, that is my friend and brother Prince Rogers Nelson. And on this program tomorrow, hard to believe it, but 10 years ago, on April 21st, 2016, we lost Prince Rogers Nelson. And so tomorrow, a tribute to Prince like no other. I was blessed to have more in-depth conversations with Prince than anyone else. And tomorrow, we are digging into my vault of amazing, arresting Prince conversations over the years. And so tomorrow, for all 3 hours of this program, you're going to get Prince in his own words. I can't think of a better way to honor him on the 10th anniversary of his passing than to just let you hear him. Not me talk about him, as I often do. But you get a chance to hear Prince on Prince. That's tomorrow for all 3 hours of this show. On the backside of this hour, we'll close the last half hour of today's program in advance of tomorrow in conversation with Mayte Garcia, Prince's former wife. She's coming live in studio in about 25 minutes from now to talk about the work of her foundation that she started with Prince, Live for Love Charities, and, of course, to celebrate Prince's legacy a decade after his tragic passing. So Mayte Garcia here on the backside of this hour, and for all 3 hours tomorrow, we're going to let you hear from Prince in his own words. That song, When Doves Cry, was chosen by Jeh Johnson, who was former Homeland Security Secretary under President Barack Obama. I gave him the opportunity to choose the song he wanted to lead with. He's a music lover anyway. He hosts his own radio program on one of the great jazz stations in the country back east, but plays all kinds of music on his regular program. And I hear what you chose today, Secretary Johnson, When Doves Cry.
Yes, thank you for playing When Doves Cry. That's my favorite Prince selection, so I really appreciated that you opened with it.
No, we wanted to make sure that that you were happy. If Jeh Johnson ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So I want to make sure that we start this thing off, as James Brown might say, on the good foot, giving Secretary Johnson what he wants. That said, as I always do, Rabbit, because on this program, how is the radio show coming? How's the music show?
Well, you'd be interested to know, Tavis, that I've just changed the name of the show
to
What's Going On.
Wow.
We used to be called All Things Soul, and I decided What's Going On is more apt to capture the tenor and the substance of my show. And actually, the political commentator John Heilman gave me the idea. He was one of my guests about a month or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
He said, why don't you call yourself What's Going On? You love Marvin Gaye, and you have these interesting discussions. So effective last Saturday, we are now known as What's Going On WBGO, Newark, New Jersey.
No, I love John Hyman. John's a good guy, and I can see why you suggested something like that, given who you are and what you play and what you do. Let me just ask you a question. This is somewhat philosophical, but I'm following you, as I always do. When you name a program What's Going On in a moment like this, and it features dialogue and just some brilliant music, situate the music that you play, and this is a big question, but you can handle it. Situate the music that you play on a program called What's Going On in a moment such as this, Jeh Johnson.
That's a very good question. I do like to play selections with a social message.
Mm-hmm.
Marvin Gaye, of course, was the best at that. And last session, I had a conversation with Chris Matthews. I'm sure you know Chris Matthews
very well. Yeah.
And at the conclusion of the interview, we were talking about the Iran war, and I dug out of my closet Frida Payne's "Bring the Boys Home."
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you remember that. During the Vietnam era.
Yeah.
So often history rhymes, history repeats itself, and we have to very often relearn the lessons of the past if we don't learn the mistakes from the past. And so I find myself listening to Marvin Gaye or Fifth Dimension or others, and so much of what was sung 50, 60 years ago, Tavis, resonates today.
No question.
And I know it resonates with many of my listeners, and they appreciate that.
Yep. There are a number of things I want to talk to Jeh Johnson about in this half hour before we get to Mayte Garcia in the last half hour. In no particular order, I want to have a broad conversation about the future of the Department of Homeland Security. He was the head of that department in the Obama era, as I said earlier. But there are a few things that are sort of running through my head I want to get his take on when we come forward here. Number one, the acting ICE director, Todd Lyons, has just announced he's stepping down at the end of May. That didn't take long. So Todd Lyons is stepping down as the guy running ICE. We'll get Jeh Johnson's thoughts about that. Number two, Mr. Mullen, who is now in the position that Jeh Johnson once had as Secretary of Homeland Security, is catching it already. He's only been there a month, and he's catching it from the left and the right. After Kristi Noem gets pushed out, former Senator Mullen steps in. but it's a bit of a rocky start for him. I think I can put it that way fairly right about now, and we'll ask Secretary Johnson about that. And then I saw where Secretary Johnson was himself a guest on another program, and he said, and I quote, "We've got to stop with these funding fights. It used to be annual. Now it's occurring several times a year, and I'm afraid it's only going to get worse unless somebody, through strong leadership, intervenes and says, stop the madness." And so we'll get Secretary Johnson to go a little deeper on his thoughts about these funding fights, specifically as it relates to Homeland Security. You know the narrative there. You're listening to Jeh Johnson on Tavis Smiley.
This show was built for you, for the community, for the culture, for everyone who wants more than headlines, for everyone who wants meaning. Tavis Smiley has always believed that public media can change lives, and every single day, that's what he comes to work to do. You're listening to Tavis Smiley, your voice, your issues, your show.
"58 years ago, a bullet tried to silence a dream. It couldn't. On April 4th, 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was taken from us, not because he failed, but because he was winning the fight for a nation determined to live up to its promise. That fight didn't end then, and it can't end now. California is the most powerful state and the most powerful country on earth. But right now, too many people are being left behind, priced out of their homes, locked out of opportunity, told to wait for justice that's already long overdue. Dr. King didn't wait. He taught us the fierce urgency of now and acted. Now it's up to us to carry that same urgency today. We need leaders who will fight the triple evils of poverty, racism, and militarism. Not someday, now. On this anniversary, let's honor Dr. King the only way that truly counts, by doing the work. Ad paid for by Steyer for Governor 2026.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning, the cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
The joint will be jumping. Ebony Repertory Theater, in association with Fig Street Films, brings you one of the most beloved musicals of all time. Tony Award winner, Ain't Misbehavin'. The soulful, swinging celebration of the music of Fats Waller. From the rollicking to the romantic, this show is pure magic, full of the songs that defined an era and the voices that'll make you forget everything else for a night. Foot-stomping, heart-stirring, unforgettable. Don't miss Ain't Misbehavin' at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center, starring Lettucey, directed by Ren T. Brown. This is the night out you've been waiting for. Tickets are going fast, so don't wait. Grab yours now at ebonyrep.org or call the box office today at 323-964-9766. Ebony Repertory Theater, bringing the culture, keeping the legacy alive.
Ain't Misbehavin' runs May 21st through June 8th at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center. Get your tickets now.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley, former Homeland Security Secretary Jeh Johnson. He was Secretary of that department during the Obama era. And there are a few things I said I want to get his take on right about now. Let me start with the funding because I discussed it many times on this program, though the whole nation, of course, got caught up in this conversation. And the lines got long at the airports, and we sent ICE agents into the airports. We all recall that drama. But that happened over a funding fight. Democrats, to my mind, Secretary Johnson, were at least attempting to draw a line in the sand, saying we are not going to fund, we're not going to defund this department until Donald Trump does something different with ICE. They've been killing people. We think about Ms. Good and Mr. Preddy in Minneapolis. There are other persons who have died in ICE custody. So it's not just those two, although that's the lead, as perhaps it should be. But Democrats said we're not going to fund this department. Then they worked their way into saying, okay, we'll fund the department, but we're going to carve out ICE. We're not going to fund ICE. So, again, to my mind, I thought at least Democrats were trying to find a spine, draw a line in the sand, because they were, so troubled, as most of us were. And troubled isn't a strong enough word, just disgusted, really, by the way that ICE was killing fellow citizens. And then, again, I saw your comments the other day about these funding fights. I quote again, we've got to stop with these funding fights. It used to be annual. Now it's occurring several times a year. I'm afraid it's only going to get worse unless somebody through strong leadership intervenes and says, stop the madness, and you can't punish the workers. It's not their fault. That's your quote. And yet I'm thinking of your hero and my hero, MLK, who made it abundantly clear that this is exactly when you have to lean in and to not fund those things that are taking America in the wrong direction. That's why he felt how he felt about the war in Vietnam, that the bombs you're dropping there are landing in the ghettos and barrios of our cities. Lyndon Johnson, you promised a war on poverty, and now you're involved in a war in Vietnam. Spending priorities matter. King put it this way, budgets are moral documents. I'll stop there. Your turn, Secretary Johnson.
During a war, the Vietnam War, we can certainly, through the people's representatives in Congress, defund the bombs, defund the missiles, defund the fighter jets. Mm-hmm. But when you get into a funding fight with a domestic agency like the Department of Homeland Security, you're hurting innocent people, as you quoted me earlier. Mm-hmm. And both parties do this. 11 years ago, the Republicans wanted to defund the Department of Homeland Security over the issue of immigration, and I fought it tooth and nail. And my guiding light through that funding fight was a woman who worked for TSA. She worked in an air marshal's office in West Orange, New Jersey, and she said to me during this funding fight, Mr. Secretary, if I don't get paid, I live paycheck to paycheck. If I don't get paid, I have stage 4 cancer. I will not be able to make my copays for my cancer treatment. And these are real people, and they don't have a voice in these funding fights. They're used as a political football. Now, you mentioned ICE a moment ago. The reality is that through discretionary funding, through the big, beautiful bill and all the money that brought was appropriated there, the Trump administration is able to fund ICE during a government shutdown, and that's what's happening. And we have to decouple policy disagreements in Congress with funding the government. The most basic function of Congress is to keep the lights on and fund the government. Nobody wins in this kind of situation. Nobody wins. And I suspect most American people look at this whole mess and say, I blame everybody. You guys just can't get your act together. You can't agree on anything. You cannot do the job we sent you to do, which is to keep the government functioning.
Yeah, I think, let me first start by saying, I hear your point with the story you told about the woman with the cancer. It's hard not to have your heartstrings tug when you hear a story like that. So I get how she became your North Star 11 years ago in that particular fight. I get that. And I get it, and more to the point, I respect it. And yet I'm trying to juxtapose the respect for your North Star in that particular situation with the communal sacrifices that I think some of us have to be willing to make for the greater good. I'm thinking of the Montgomery bus boycott. Yes. It is the greatest moment, as far as I'm concerned, in the history of black people in terms of our coming together for the greater good. Everybody in that bus boycott had to sacrifice for the greater good, not just the folk in Montgomery, but indeed black people who weren't even born at that time. Say nothing of black folk across the country during that particular era. But there are these moments, I think, where people have to be willing to sacrifice for the greater good and a little bit of pain in the short term for some long-term gain. I don't want to be Puritan about it, but am I making any sense at all?
Well, let's unpack that.
Okay.
I want to make 2 points.
Okay.
One, when you defund an agency like TSA, you are, first of all, not paying workers who live paycheck to paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
And these are people who don't have menial tasks. These are people whose job it is to look for bombs on the airplane you and I are about to get on with our families. And so you're telling these people who already have low morale, I am not going to pay you, but you're doing a vital, life-saving job. And so I don't believe it's fair to ask people like that to sacrifice because there's a policy disagreement in Washington over how ICE approaches its job. And here's some good news. I do believe, you mentioned the Montgomery bus boycott. I do believe that the citizens of Minneapolis and in other cities like New Orleans, for example, when they rose up in peaceful protest, actually did make a difference.
Yeah.
And actually did bend the will of the Trump administration when it came to Minneapolis. As you know, Trump set home Greg Bovina and he put in Tom Homan to take over in Minneapolis. And things, from appearances at least, have seemed to have calmed down. So ordinary citizens can sacrifice and make a difference through peaceful protest in the finest traditions of this country.
I only push back respectfully in one way. When you say policy disagreement, see, I see it as a bit more than that. This was not just a policy disagreement where one suggests that there were, points of view on both sides that needed to be considered. It's not just an antiseptic, policy disagreement. This is a line that Democrats, to my mind at least, were drawing in the sand because ICE was killing fellow citizens. That's not just a policy disagreement, Mr. Secretary, as I see it.
No,
at
that's
least.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I take your point.
Right.
But the reason we are where we are is because Democrats don't have a majority in the House and the Senate.
Fair enough.
So, at the end of the day, people. If you're upset, you got to turn out and vote.
Right. Nope, I get that point. I get it. I hear your point. Again, I respect the North Star you said earlier. I just think that every now and again, somebody has got to be willing to sacrifice in the short run for long-term gain for all of us. And that's essentially the story of Black America. At our best, we have taught America how to protest. I think of all that we endured so that everybody else could be enjoying the liberties that they enjoy today. We kicked down the doors. I'm talking about Black folk now, and everybody else marched on through. I mean, but somebody had to make that sacrifice, and so I don't think it's any different now than it always has been in this country.
I think. Well, somebody told me you're syndicated in 40 cities. There's probably a TSO listening to us right now. I cannot ask that person to suffer through without a paycheck because of what ICE is doing in Minneapolis. That person is an innocent bystander to this. Mm-hmm. I think that we need to focus our efforts on civil disobedience, peaceful First Amendment protected protest over what is happening in some of these Trump policies. I do not believe we should punish the workers who have absolutely nothing to do with this fight.
Yeah. I hear you. We'll leave it there. I made my point. You made yours. And it is what it is. I'm not going to change your mind. You sure ain't going to change mine. So we're going to leave that. We're going to leave that, as my grandmother, Big Mama would say, we're going to leave that lay where the good Lord done flung it. We're going to leave it right over there where the good Lord done flung it. Let me raise let me raise the other two issues in the time that I have here. Let me start with Todd Lyons, acting ICE director. I was going to play a clip of him getting grilled in his hearings, but it's going to eat up too much of my time, so forget it, Miles. I'm not going to play that clip. I want to go straight to the secretary with this. So Lyons has said he's going to step down at the end of May. That was sort of short term. I raise it only because certainly inside the Trump administration, I mean, you look at Obama. I think everybody who worked for Obama felt it was an honor to work for Barack Obama during that 8-year period, and you included, of course. But I'm starting to see these musical chairs inside the Trump administration, and there are just some jobs I think people just don't really want to have. And this ICE director position is, starting to be one of those musical chair seats, if that makes sense to you.
Yes, it does. And you're right. You have to wonder about anybody who would want that job in a Trump administration.
Yep.
But no matter who the director or acting director of ICE is, Stephen Miller's running the show.
Mm-hmm.
And they all have to answer to Stephen Miller when he calls them constantly. So it's Stephen Miller's immigration deportation policy. I actually believe that Tom Homan is maybe one of the few people in that administration who's pumping the brakes. He's a career law enforcement officer. But no matter who the Secretary of DHS is, and I hesitate to say that, no matter who the ICE director is, no matter who the CBP commissioner is, they answer to Stephen Miller.
Mm-hmm. And what do we? How should we read that? How does Jeh Johnson read that? That even though these persons have the title, that guy right there is running the playbook.
Well, every political appointee in an administration answers to the president, and I suppose the people closest to the president. The big question I would have if I were the nominee for DHS secretary is, is, what's my role?
Yeah.
Where do I fit in? Do I answer to Stephen Miller? Or do I answer to you, the president? And Kristi Noem obviously could not navigate that. We'll find out whether Mark Wayne Mullen can navigate that. But they all answer to him, and by all appearances, Stephen Miller has President Trump's confidence. He's one of the people who have served in both Trump 1 and Trump 2.
Mark Wayne Mullen, the new Secretary of Homeland Security, former senator, as I mentioned earlier, is off to a rocky start. I'm reading stuff every day. He's catching it from both sides. I don't know what you have to do to be catching it from both sides, and you're only a month in. But are you following this? Do you have a particular read on why his start has been so rocky, so bumpy?
Well, I know from personal experience, if you're catching it from both sides, this is not a comment on him.
Sure.
If you're catching it from both sides, then maybe you're doing something. You're doing something right. He had I don't know whether this is true anymore, but he had a fairly good reputation with Democrats in the Senate. You may notice if you look at the roll call vote for his confirmation, a number of Democrats in the Senate declined to vote one way or the other. That's a sign that they actually liked him on a personal level, and they didn't want to vote against him, and they didn't want to vote for him either. And so he had a certain amount of goodwill coming into office, but I guess it's just about dissipated now after a month. No matter whose administration it is, it's a tough job. If I had a conversation with him, I'd say spend time with these families and these kids at the border so you can understand their plight. You can humanize this policy. I certainly did that. I was on the border at least 12 times in my 37 months in office, and I would recommend that he do the same thing.
I got 90 seconds left. Here's my exit question. Whether or not the American people at this point should have trust and confidence in their Department of Homeland Security.
I hate to say this, but this president has weaponized the Department of Homeland Security to pursue his very aggressive immigration agenda. And I fear we're losing sight of all the other missions that Homeland Security is responsible for, including protecting the American people. So I do worry about the current direction.
That makes two of us, and I can assure you we ain't the only two listening to this program right now who share those concerns. Jeh Johnson from Homeland Security Secretary, honored to have him on this program once again. Mr. Secretary, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
In a world full of noise, one voice cuts through. Tavis Smiley has never backed down from the hard questions, never shied away from speaking truth to power and to the powerless, and he's not about to start now. This is the show people talk about, the one your coworkers quote, the one that gets under your skin in the best way. Tavis Smiley, nationally syndicated, unapologetically progressive, unapologetically real.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The NAACP in Northern California is working to boost youth voter turnout during high school voter education weeks. Oakland NAACP President Cynthia Adams.
We need to educate them how it's so important to vote. Your vote counts.
The Oakland chapter is working with Alameda County to register young voters of color. House Speaker Mike Johnson is calling it a heartbreaking tragedy after a mass shooting in Shreveport left 8 black children dead and 2 adults wounded. Police say the gunman, a father of 7, and the husband of one of the adult victims was killed by officers. And one of the men charged in the 2002 killing of Run DMC's Jam Master Jay is planning to plead guilty. Court records show Jay Bryant intends to change his plea, making the first courtroom admission in the legendary rapper's murder case. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Recall 67A mobile appointments are now available in your area. We come to you quick, easy, and under an hour. Complete the recall to get $500 plus a warranty worth thousands. Schedule today at CummonsRecall.com.
Vegas summers start by the pool. Find poolside luxury at Aria, iconic elegance at Bellagio, and vibrant energy at the Cosmopolitan. Relax, sip, and earn with MGM Rewards. Plan your escape today at MGMRewards.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Houston Rockets are 4.5-point favorites to beat the Lakers Tuesday night in Game 2 of their first-round playoff series, despite losing Game 1 and despite the uncertainty of Kevin Durant's availability. Durant sat out Game 1 with a sore knee. He's listed as a game-time decision for Game 2 at Crypto.com. With Durant not being completely healthy and Game 2 here in L.A., it's hard to understand what the odds makers in Vegas are thinking. These odds will certainly change a lot if the Lakers go up 2-0 in the best of 7. Lakers legend Michael Cooper was a guest on Out of Bounds Friday night here on KBLA with me and my co-host Neil Scarborough. Cooper is the new head men's basketball coach at Cal State LA. The NBA Hall of Famer said he would like to recruit more student athletes from urban high schools in the LA area, like Dorsey, Crenshaw, Fairfax, Hamilton, and others. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Prince and the Revolution.
10 years ago, the world lost a genius.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life.
Prince trusted few people. Tavis Smiley was one of them.
Good evening from Los Angeles. I'm Tavis Smiley. Tonight, a rare conversation with one of music's biggest superstars, Prince.
Prince opened up to Tavis in ways he rarely did with anyone else. Honest, unfiltered, and unforgettable. On Tuesday, April 21st, as we mark the 10th anniversary of his transition, experience 3 uninterrupted hours of Prince in his own words.
When people criticize my work and attack my personality, it doesn't help me. I can't do anything with it.
Don't just remember Prince, hear him.
We live in a place now that feels just about like a plantation. We're all indentured servants.
Tavis Smiley, Tuesday, April 21st, only on Tavis Smiley.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. The Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone in your community, or just taking a deep, calming breath when you need it. Nice. For mental health resources, check out loveyourmindtoday.org. At loveyourmindtoday.org, you'll find information that may help you get through a tough time. Things like tips for dealing with stress, how to navigate difficulties like financial worries, anger, substance use, and more. You can also find real stories of how people navigated their own mental health challenges. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Getting around LA doesn't have to cost a lot. Metro has fares that fit every budget. 20 free rides for qualified riders through the Life Fare program. Free passes for students with GoPass and affordable options for everyone in between. Wherever you're going, Metro's got you covered. Visit metro.net/fare programs.
Paid for by government. The 1986 to 2021 United States Silver Eagle, the first ever U.S. silver dollar minted in 99.9% pure silver and is the best-selling coin in the world. These original and historic silver dollars have ceased production forever. They will never be minted again. For a limited time only, full-pound bags of original U.S. government-struck silver dollars are being released to the public. You can own a full pound of original U.S. silver dollar coins featuring Lady Liberty and the heraldic eagle, never to be struck again. Guaranteed. Call now to secure original United States Silver Eagles by the pound. The first U.S. silver dollars ever to be struck in 99.9% pure silver. Plus, receive a free bonus, an American Collector's Pack valued at over $40 and free shipping with every order. Call 1-800-560-6468 now to secure your full pound bag of United States Silver Eagle coins before they are gone. That's 1-800-560-6468.
Less monologue, more dialogue. Tavis Smiley continues right now.
That's Prince. I'm Tavis Smiley. It is hard to believe, but 10 years ago tomorrow, April 21st, 2016, we lost Prince Rogers Nelson. On this program tomorrow, a tribute to Prince like no other. I was blessed to have more in-depth conversations with Prince than anyone else in the world. And why he chose me, I do not know, but I am eternally grateful that Prince chose me to befriend and to sit and to share with in this country and around the world in public conversations, private dialogues. And so tomorrow, I am digging into my vault and bringing you Prince in his own words for all 3 hours. I'm excited about that, but I'm just as excited to tell you that Prince's former wife, Mayte Garcia, with her beautiful self, is sitting right across from me right now in this studio in this last half hour as I work my way toward this Prince tribute tomorrow. So let me just start by asking, when you hear this song, Mayte, you think what?
First off, it's Mayte.
Mayte,
Yeah,
yes.
Mayte.
Yeah.
I remember he was free.
Yeah.
They gave him that song to release, so he was like, I'm going nuts with it. And it's just such a beautiful, what's the word? Honoring women. Honoring women. Because he loved women. Yeah. And of course, romantic.
Yeah. Turn it up, Miles. Turn it up. Let me get a little more.
Baby, this kind of beauty, it's got no reason to ever be shy. Cause honey, this kind of beauty, the kind that comes from inside.
We were talking earlier, Mayte, about his fans, and I'm gonna lay harder on that second syllable. It's that Mississippi accent of mine. I'm gonna lay harder on that tay. Mayte. I said it. I just didn't lean hard enough on it.
You know, it's funny. When he first met me, he wouldn't call my name because he didn't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
He kept waiting. He was like, I didn't say your name because I didn't know how to pronounce it right.
He didn't want to mess it up, right? Yeah, I mean, I know it, and I'm glad you said it. I didn't lay hard enough on that second syllable, that tay part. So I got you. With a name like Tavis, I understand that. You want people to get it right. So I'll lay on that syllable. But you and I were talking earlier off mic just about his fans.
Yeah.
And I've had the honor of interviewing so many artists over the course of my career, but his fans are uniquely different than any other people's fans I've met. I met a lot of fans.
Yeah.
How would you, and of course he didn't like the word fan anyway. He says, Tavis, I don't like the word fan. What fan is short for fanatic. I don't like the word contract. The first three letters are C-O-N, con. I can hear him in my ear right now telling me about contract and fanatics. But what would you say about his fan base?
I'd say they're the most loyal, emotional, I mean, really protective. They love him. Man, I call them the purple people. I'm like, is he purple? Okay, he's purple. Yeah. That's how I know. It's like Steve Park, he just did an interview, and I heard him say that whenever we get together, anybody who's been around him or worked with him, it's like an astronaut. Once you leave the planet and you only have that connection with people who have left the planet and have been an astronaut. Same thing. Like we have that energy, and just there's a knowing, I guess, of I guess his work ethic, his magic, just everything him.
Yeah. I was speaking of fans. I was in. We were talking earlier. Dr. Cornel West was on earlier.
Nice.
And we were talking about Prince and our friendship with him. And so Prince calls me one day and says, "What are you doing in a couple of weeks?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "I'm going to play Montreux. Why don't you come with me?" So I said, "Sure." So we go to Montreux. I told this to her earlier, but there's a reason I'm telling this to you though. So we go to Montreux, and it's middle of the day. Prince is performing later that night, so I'm hungry. So I leave the hotel room. And I walk out to the hotel in Montreux, walking down the sidewalk, trying to find a place to eat. Woo, 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 woo. Long story short, I look up and I see people starting to follow me. It's a little weird. I kept looking back. And before I know it, I look back again, and one person becomes 5, and 5 becomes 10. I look back. I kid you not. There are hundreds of people follow me down the sidewalk. And then I just picked up my pace, like, why are these people? I'm thinking, what is this? I have no clue. So I pick up my pace and almost start trotting down the street. I look back, they're trotting. And finally, somebody yelled something, and I figured out what it was. It was all of his fans from around the world who had come to Montreux, but they knew my face because they'd seen all the interviews. And I told Prince that story later that night. He said, "Yeah, I should have told you. You can't leave the hotel without my security team. Because the minute they see you," he said, "my bandmates, they can't leave the room. They can't walk down the street like that." So I was like, I had my own little moment where people would chase me down the street, and I couldn't figure out why. It's because they so love him, and they saw me and knew that I was the interlocutor that this guy talked to, and so they start following me. It was the weirdest thing. I never had that. But once was enough for that. I didn't like being followed. I said to him, "Yeah, my respect for you went through the roof because that's just me. What you have to deal with is something completely different." I'm glad you're here. I want to spend the rest of our time, if we can. I thank you for those Prince reflections 10 years after his passing, officially tomorrow. But what you all did together was pretty amazing, and you're still doing it. It's called Live for Love Charities. And when we come forward with Mayte, I want to spend the rest of our time talking about her charity work. It's called Live for Love. You're listening to her, and I'm glad about it on Tavis Smiley.
Interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the
right seat. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, host of The Voice of Reason, weeknights at 7 p.m. here on KBLA Talk 1580, with a personal invitation for you to join me and Insight.me as we present The Healing Box, live at Inglewood's world-famous Miracle Theater, Saturday evening, May 23rd at 7 p.m. Look, I understand your attachment style has been running your life like a rogue algorithm, and nobody has had the courage to press pause. Until now, Dr. Pacoya McCall and yours truly are curating a night where clinicians, spiritualists, and an all-star panel of Black woman healers like Dr. Shalonda Sunshine Crawford, Dr. Jeh Johnson, and spiritualist Precious McGill will join some amazing spoken word artists and the legendary comedian Louis Dix to diagnose, disrupt, and heal your relational wreckage in real time. Listen, bring your trauma. As a matter of fact, bring your baby mama. No, bring your testimony. And if you're still texting your ex at 2 a.m., baby, you're not just invited, you're the target demo. Tickets are moving fast, so grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before your dating history gets flagged as a pre-existing condition. That's themiracleinglewood.com. We'll see you there Saturday, May 23rd at 7 p.m.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is dedicated to inspiring youth and resilience through storytelling, arts, filmmaking, and enrichment programs for youth and families in under-resourced communities and system-impacted individuals. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit providing free and low-cost arts programs to youth and families from under-resourced communities, both system-impacted youth and those affected by the incarceration of a loved one. 1 in 43 children in America have a parent incarcerated. 70% of those children are expected to end up in prison. Through filmmaking, animation, theater, and writing, they help young people express themselves, build confidence, and imagine new possibilities. Beyond the arts, they offer financial literacy workshops, emergency support, and scholarships. Because thriving takes more than talent, it takes access. To learn more about the impact of Michael Daughters Foundation and how you can be a part of the movement, please visit their website, michaelsdaughterfoundation.com. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Mayte Garcia, and she and Prince together started a charity work called Live for Love, and all these years later it's still going strong under your leadership. Tell me about Live for Love.
We were married, and he walks into my office, and we were expecting our son Amir, and he was like, I want to give back. Let's start a charity. I was like, okay, you already give. So what do you mean? He goes, no, like a charity. Mm-hmm. Like, okay. He goes, and I want Kirk to be in it. And yeah, I was like, okay.
Then he walked out.
You know how he is.
Yeah.
So I called Laura. I'm like, how do we start a charity? So we started the charity, and it was funded by him. Mm-hmm. So if we needed money, let me go on tour real quick. And then he'd fund it, and we did a lot. We did coat drives, can drives before it was possible to even do that. People knew how to do that. We helped so many companies and foundations and people and children and schools. And when he passed, I found out that he left me on. So we did our research, and our mission statement is helping people up and helping people out. And it's a vast thing of people that we support. I have started some programs. I have Live for Music, which I'm really excited about, Live for Dance, and Love in Action Award. I'll tell you that in a minute. But yeah, I mean, it's giving back and you know, continuing his legacy.
Yeah.
You know.
Tell me about the award. You teed it up. Go ahead and tell me about it.
Which one?
The award. You teed it up. Go ahead and tell me about it. You said
the award.
Yeah.
Yes. Live for Action.
Yes.
It's $10,000. We find people, charities, whatever, doing something good, and we give them $10,000, and we put a spotlight on them, and you know, hopefully motivate, inspire people to do the same. Yeah. I have Live for Music, which I'm excited about. I actually have 2 students at the benefit tomorrow. They're 16 years old, and he started playing, and amazing, and he's such a talented guy, and he's coming. Just giving kids an opportunity, you know, because I mean, I have a 14-year-old, and arts is not very popular in school. It's not accessible. It's very expensive. So I knew that that's something that Prince would have wanted.
You said not popular in schools. So many schools don't even have music education anymore.
I know.
Which is a travesty that these programs have been wiped out. But don't get me started about that.
Yeah.
But they don't even exist, let alone not, you know, to your point, not being popular. The thing that I love about Live for Love is how intentional you and Prince were, and how intentional you continue to be with the work of this charity. Because I knew him so well, I can tell you, I got a long list of things I can tell you that I know he funded. But you know, you were married to him. He did it privately.
Yep.
He did it secretively.
I know.
He would tell you, if it gets out that my name is on this, we're gonna have a problem. He would give you the support, but he didn't want people to know that he was funding it.
Yeah.
This is uniquely different because this is your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
He was open about this.
Yeah.
But everything else, he was very, very secret about his charitable giving.
I know. Yeah. He didn't. I would see those tracks. I'm like, okay, wow, that's wow. I mean, a lot of people don't know that he was so passionate about that.
Why do you think I raised that? Because he was so passionate and so private about all the giving that he did. Why do you think he chose to be so public about this one? What do you think motivated him to go public with Live for Love?
Our son.
Yeah, Amir.
Yeah.
I get it. Our remaining moments with Mayte Garcia when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Tired of being locked out of job opportunities and shut down by systemic racism? KBLA Talk 1580 stands with you in fighting for the rights of black workers, and we don't black down. The Los Angeles Black Workers Center is a dynamic alliance of workers, organized labor, community-based organizations, clergy, students, and scholars working collectively to improve the position of the black working class. The LA Black Workers Center takes a comprehensive approach to addressing the black jobs crisis. Their programs promote access to quality jobs, racial equity in hiring and retention, discrimination-free job sites, and they prepare black workers for employment in high-wage career track jobs. The LA Black Workers Center supports workers who need help protecting their rights on the job. They give workers access to quality jobs and remove systemic barriers to employment. And they are advocating for a fair deal for black workers in the new Los Angeles City Charter. To sign up for free career readiness training, get involved in organizing, or learn about union apprenticeship programs and trade registries, please visit lablackworkercenter.org. That's lablackworkercenter.org. Together, we can beat the black jobs crisis and build a more equitable Los Angeles. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley, Mayte Garcia, talking. We have been about the foundation that she started with her then husband Prince, Live for Love Charity. She's still doing some great work with that organization. There's a major event tomorrow. The good news is, well, the bad news is you can't come. The good news is it's sold out, and that's why you can't come at this point. But say a word about your event tomorrow.
Oh man, for me, it's every year, every April 21st was really hard on me and everybody. And I figured, you know what? It's been 10 years. We need to celebrate, put his music, because he wanted that.
Absolutely.
So it's an event to raise awareness of who we are and continue his legacy. We have the program, students, kids coming to play, which is like, and then I have like amazing professional musicians. It's going to be a great evening of love and music and just unity.
Yeah, it's a great way to honor him.
Yeah.
On that day, and I'm glad it's sold out. Not surprised. Glad it's sold out. Sorry that more can't get in, but I'm glad that people are finding various ways around the world. It's gonna be purple everywhere tomorrow.
Yeah,
everywhere.
I know.
Literally all over the globe.
I know.
I'm excited about that tomorrow. I want to read. I got 3 minutes left here. I want to read something. I see a number of comments coming in from people all around the country listening to this program right about now. But this one jumped out at me. Tavis, would you please tell Ms. Garcia that she is a blessing who has helped so many mothers heal after the loss of a child. Her full transparency about her grief as a mother serves as an inspiration to so many. I just wanted to share that with you.
Oh, thank you.
Because you mentioned Amir earlier.
Thank you.
You get that from time to time from people?
Yeah. Especially, because I talk about it and I support it. Love in Action gave $10,000 to a foundation that helps women with sudden death. Yeah. Nobody talks about it, and there's not a lot of support groups. So I'm really pushing to spread that. Not that anybody wants it, but it's life.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
No, I'm happy to read it. I just wanted to make sure it was okay to read it on the air there, but I'm getting all kinds of comments. I know there are women. And what's fascinating about that is that last week, we're talking about Black Maternal Health Week and just all the drama that so many women of color, Black women in particular, still have trying to be treated respectfully, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pivoting to something else, but you take my point, that these conversations matter.
Absolutely.
And that women need to be empowered, enlightened, encouraged, inspired. And so to share that message with you from one of our listeners means a great deal to me. I should mention right quick, in the next minute here, I'm out of time. I'm away tomorrow. I'll be for a couple of days. Jeh Johnson, former Homeland Security Secretary, who you heard on this program earlier today, is sitting in this seat. Well, he won't be in this seat. He's on the East Coast, but they're gonna pipe him in some sort of way. But I'm away tomorrow. So former Secretary of Homeland Security in the Obama era, Jeh Johnson, sitting in for me tomorrow. And I thank Secretary Johnson for doing that. And going to be a great job. I mean, I said Wednesday. Thank you, Miles. Wednesday, I'm all kind of confused. Tomorrow is the Prince tribute.
Yes.
All 3 hours. Let me get my days straight. It's Monday, right? Tomorrow, rewind. Tomorrow, 3 hours, Prince in his own voice, all 3 hours of Prince as we celebrate him on the 10th anniversary of his passing. And then on Wednesday, Jeh Johnson sits in for me. I'll be away for a couple of days this week. But I close by thanking Mayte Garcia once again for coming in studio.
Thank you.
I know you didn't have to do this, and I know how difficult, as you said earlier, this anniversary is challenging for all of us, but you were there. And so for you to even consider coming in to see me. It means
You
a
know,
great deal.
I knew it was meant to be because I went to have breakfast and coffee, and in the room it was purple, and we saw two symbols, teeny weeny symbols. My daughter saw it.
Yeah.
And I talked to the owner. He's like, "Oh no, I'm a Prince fan." When he passed, he started crying because I made this room the purple room.
Oof.
You know, it's like he's everywhere.
Yeah, I'm glad you came.
Thank you.
That name Amir came from?
It was Arabic for Prince.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to have.
Yeah.
I didn't want to name him Prince Jr.
Yeah.
But I thought Amir was such a beautiful name.
He liked that idea.
Loved it.
Yeah, I love it. And I love you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Just like that, 3 hours gone. Don't forget, tomorrow, all 3 hours, nothing but Prince, a tribute like nobody else is going to have. It's Prince on Prince for 3 hours, starting at 9 a.m. Pacific tomorrow. Until then, thanks for tuning in, and as always, keep the faith.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The NAACP in Northern California is working to boost youth voter turnout during high school voter education weeks. Oakland NAACP President Cynthia Adams.
We need to educate them how it's so important to vote. Your vote counts.
The Oakland chapter is working with Alameda County to register young voters of